Chapter 749. Baya looked at the projection and tapped the table rhythmically with her fingers.
She said calmly. Male around 30 years old 1.
75 to 1.
8 meters tall, thin, highly educated, high IQ, good EQ, unemployed, parents dead, brothers also dead, has a good fortune.
Yes, he has a car. The car should be a luxurious one. He has average looks and is very eloquent. He usually looks harmless. It's easy to hide.
Other than these, what else?
Shen asked anxiously. His psychological quality is quite good. The first case seemed to be perfect. He raised the knife without hesitation. It shouldn't be his first time committing crimes. Moreover, the frequency of his crimes is very stable, which means that he has developed a habit of committing crimes. He should have moved here at the beginning of this year. Work with the other states and see if they have similar cases. Find the first case. The more flaws the murderer left, the more clues we'll get, Baya continued. I think there's one thing. Did you notice? Since the murderer disguised himself as the deceased, where did he get the files of the deceased? Ali asked. We thought of that too. It could be a funeral parlor, a cemetery, or a police station. However, the areas where the crime happened are very far away, so we can't find any traces of the murderer, Shin said dejectedly.
Why does he always leave one alive?
Ivy asked in confusion. He has a criminal habit. It might be related to his past, Baya replied. Next, what's the direction of your investigation? Shin asked anxiously. The others looked at each other. As an experienced FBI agent, Rue said, we'll go to the crime scene to take a look first. Contact the other police departments. Let me know if there's any news. I'll talk to those kids, Baya said softly. All right, I'll arrange it, said Shin. Baya smiled and stood up. Baya, can you say anything else? I'd like to hear your thoughts again, Ivy invited.
After saying that, her face turned slightly red.
After the murderer got the files, he followed them for a long time. He might have appeared in the victim's home with an inconspicuous identity. He knew the situation in the victim's home like the back of his hand. On the day he was ready to take action, he planned in advance to let the others die, Baya said softly. So, you're saying that the people around the deceased might be the murderer? Rue asked. To be more precise, we'll get the surveillance footage of the people around the deceased's house for the past 2 months. See if there's any overlap between the victims, Baya said. Ivy was angry. When Shen asked for our direction, why didn't you say that we're a team? This isn't the time for your heroism. Baya looked at Ali calmly. Originally, I wanted to narrow the scope of this information to you after asking the children. It's not about individual heroism. Actually, we don't have to do this, right? The police station will cooperate with us. Hearing Baya's calm tone, Ailey didn't know what to say. However, her heart was still unhappy. Let's go. We'll go to the scene and let some people try to act tough. Baya smiled faintly and didn't argue. He didn't have to say anything. Baya, please come and sign the contract for your part. The director has already contacted the Brain Research Center. You can go any time. Just contact the person in charge. The people over there are also from country A. Shen said with a smile and handed the business card to Baya. Baya saw that the other party's name was Black. This name was very strange. It could not be considered a name. When translated, it meant black. She looked at his title, the head of the security department, and entered his name into her phone. She followed Shen to the HR department to sign the contract. They offered her a high salary of $1 million a year. She would be able to do her own thing when there were no cases, which was equivalent to a long-term part-time job. She quickly wrote her name on the contract. Should I take you to see the children now? Shen asked. Baya nodded. Sure. They don't have anyone to adopt them now. They are all in the orphanage. These children are very pitiful. Because the case is too strange and related to their father, the other relatives don't dare to claim them, Shen explained. This was human nature. Baya understood it the best. Bring me there. On the way, Baya bought 5 boxes of fruit-flavored candies. She ate one for herself. Soon, they arrived at the orphanage. She followed Shen to the director's office. When Shen expressed his intentions, the director complained to Shen, "These kids are weird. The other kids are afraid of them. They even injured a nurse last time. Now they are grounded. Shen was speechless when he heard that. Baya frowned and looked at the director. Before you felt that they were strange, did you see them as normal people? They were treated as monsters in the orphanage and were called monsters. After a long time they also felt that they were monsters. In your eyes, they are the symbol of demons. Why don't they do what demons do? The director's face turned ugly. What do you mean by that? Are you saying that we are wrong? We have to take care of many children every day. The most troublesome thing is these mischievous weirdos. So, you locked them up and made them even more resentful. From a young age, their personalities have been distorted. Before they came here, they were the treasures of their parents. They are just like normal people. Moreover, the oldest among them is only 6 years old. Who are you? The director's eyes widened in displeasure. Shin looked troubled and introduced. She is the famous psychologist Baya. The director stopped talking. She remembered that she had heard about this famous psychologist from her subordinates last time. She changed her attitude and said with a smile, I'm sorry, we are also looking for a solution. If you can tell us, that would be the best. I'll talk about it after I see them. Get the youngest over here first, Baya said. Okay, I'll get someone to find him, the director said and gave the assistant a look. The assistant nodded and walked away in a hurry. Baya glanced at her and said to the director, When I ask questions later, I hope we can be alone. Is that okay? Sure, but those children sometimes seem to be crazy. Dr. Bai, you have to be careful. Stay 2 meters away from them, the director reminded. Baya smiled. They are just children. Don't worry, I will protect myself. Chapter 750. Baya squatted down in front of the child. The child was very pretty. His eyes were big and blue, with long eyelashes. His face was round and fair like a doll. However, his eyes were red and he looked at Baya warily. He pursed his lips and did not move or speak. Shen asked the others to leave the room first. Baya glanced at the window and saw that the director was still there. She smiled and took out 5 candies from the box. She asked the child, There are 5 candies here. Apple-flavored, watermelon-flavored, strawberry-flavored, grape-flavored, and lemon-flavored. Which one do you like? The child stared at Baya. Seeing that Baya was harmless, he carefully took the grape-flavored one. Baya took the candy from him, peeled off the wrapper, and handed it to him. The little guy put it in his mouth. Baya also took a grape-flavored fruit candy from the box and put it in her mouth. She asked casually, Do you miss Daddy? The child looked at Baya and shook his head. Daddy is already in heaven. Did you not see Daddy yesterday? Baya asked immediately. The child shook his head. It was the day before yesterday. I saw him. I think he was Daddy. He brought me to buy hamburgers. I fell asleep while eating. When I woke up, the child's eyes were red and they were about to fall out. Mommy, I want Mommy, I want Mommy. He looked outside the window. Mommy, Mommy. Baya looked at his helpless look and felt a little sour in her heart. He was still a 2-year-old child. Perhaps he still did not understand that he was already an orphan. Baya took out a box of candies from her bag and shook it. There was a sound from the box. The child was attracted by the sound and looked at Baya. Baya handed the box to the child. I have a box of fruit candies here. You can eat them all. Be good, okay? The child's tears were still hanging in the corner of his eyes. He took the fruit candies from Baya's hand. Baya did not give it to him. She smiled and said, Can you answer a few questions for me? Other than Mom, Grandma, and Grandpa, who do you like the most? The child thought for a moment. I like Uncle Jack the most. He has a lot of toys and he even gave me a lot. Apart from Uncle Jack? Baya asked. The child shook his head and took the candy from Baya's hand. Baya gave it to him and said to the outside, Call the 5-year-old over. The assistant carried the child away. After a while, she returned with a 5-year-old boy. The little boy was furious and looked at Baya in an unruly manner. His eyes were filled with hatred and killing intent. Baya smiled and gently said, Don't be afraid, I won't hurt you. I'm a good friend of your mother, and she asked me to fulfill your wish of eating. What do you want to eat? Were you really sent by my mother?
The little boy asked in disbelief.
Let's go to my car and talk, okay?
Baya walked in front and opened the door. The director blocked Baya's way.
You want to bring him out? That's not very good. After all, we need to manage the orphanage. It's not good to break the rules and regulations. What rules and regulations did you break?
Baya scrutinized her and asked.
Her eyes flashed like sharp X-rays. Children in the orphanage are not allowed to go out. If not, they will become wild, the director insisted.
Shen, call the director and ask him to contact the governor. Then, ask the governor to call the director and ask if I can bring a child out for a meal, Baya said sternly.
The director felt guilty.
Then, you guys should leave secretly. Don't let other children see you.
Neil, don't talk nonsense when you go out. Don't cause trouble.
If not, your little friend will be in trouble, the director warned the child.
Baya smiled and looked at the director.
From the assistant's nervousness, the director's strong objection, and the warning, she was sure that this orphanage had an unspeakable secret.
Let's go, Neil.
Baya walked in front. Neil lowered his head and pursed his lips.
He followed behind Baya.
Neil, what do you want to eat?
Baya asked.
I want to eat hamburgers, Neil said.
All right, I'll bring you there now, Baya said with a smile.
Then, she looked at Shen. Shen, help me do something.
Baya got into the car and passed Neil a box of fruit candy.
She asked casually, You don't like the director?
I don't like her, Neil said with certainty. He looked very serious.
Why?
She always hits me and scolds me. She doesn't give us any food. Also, she beat Dirk to death.
I saw it with my own eyes, Neil said angrily.
Dirk. He's a 12-year-old kid. He takes good care of me. He's the only one who secretly gives me food, but he can't talk. He was beaten to death by the director because he gave me food, Neil said angrily.
Shen, I think it's necessary for you to investigate this dean, Baya said to Shen.
Okay, I'll do it when I get back.
Baya rubbed Neil's head.
I'll help you.
Neil looked at Baya with a gentler expression.
Thank you.
Neil, do you know an Uncle Jack?
Baya asked casually. I do.
He used to give me a lot of toys, but after Mom's accident, he never appeared again, Neil said sadly.
Do you remember what he looks like?
Uncle Jack is a clown. He has colorful hair, a red nose, and a big mouth.
How many times have you met him?
Neil pursed his lips and hesitated. I promised Uncle Jack that I wouldn't tell him.
He's very nice to me.
He buys me a lot of toys and gives me good food. But Uncle Jack hasn't appeared for a long time.
Maybe he's sick or he can't find you.
I want to help you, Baya said gently as she rubbed Neil's head. Neil was convinced. Uncle Jack often comes to my house when there's no one else. He asks people to keep our relationship a secret. I didn't tell anyone.
Neil, think about it. Did he appear 2 months before your dad came back?
Neil shook his head.
I don't remember.
Then do you remember the first time you met?
Baya asked.
Mom held my hand as we walked in the mall. We met Uncle Jack, and he gave me toys and roses. A few days later, Uncle Jack came to find me and gave me new toys. He promised me that as long as I didn't tell anyone, he would come and give me more toys. Oh, he came every 3 days and gave me a toy each time. I got a total of 7 toys, Neil said.
Baya understood. Which toys are there now? Where are they?
Neil shook his head, his eyes red.
I don't have any toys.
Mom, Grandpa, or Grandma. Grow up well, study hard, learn skills, and you'll still have your family, Baya consoled. The car stopped in front of a McDonald's. Baya bought enough hamburgers for him. They walked out of the McDonald's.
A car rushed towards her.
Baya stopped moving. Scenes flashed through her mind. It seemed like there was a car that wanted to hit her. Then, a man appeared and saved her. She couldn't remember what that man looked like, but her heart suddenly hurt. She pressed on her chest to cushion the pain. She didn't have the energy to care about the car rushing towards her. Chapter 751. Bang! There was a loud sound. The car that was about to hit Baya was knocked away by a container truck. 4 policemen quickly got out and pointed their guns at the car.
Get out of the car, Shen shouted. He looked at the black car window and opened the door. He was shocked to see the assistant of the orphanage in the driver's seat. "Why are you here?" The assistant looked at Shen in fear. When he saw that he was caught, his face turned pale. "Bring him to the police station first," Shen said. The policeman pressed the assistant against the car. "How did you know that someone would hit you with a car?" Shen asked Baya curiously. Baya had asked him to prepare a car and wait at the door when she was eating. Someone might hit her with a car and he was right. "Go to the orphanage now and arrest all the adults. You have to be quick. Otherwise, when they come to their senses, the children in the orphanage will be in danger," Baya said anxiously. "Okay, I'll do it now." Shen quickly called the police station chief. Baya held Neil's hand and got into her car. She said gently, "Don't be afraid. Anyone who does bad things will be brought to justice." "Will the police arrest the dean as well?" Neil asked in a clear voice. "Yes, justice will prevail over evil. There will be good uncles and aunties to take care of you and accompany you as you grow up happily. They said that we are monsters and no one wants to come near us," Neil said with red eyes. Baya hugged Neil in her arms. "How can you be monsters? It's just that every future hero has an extraordinary childhood. It's because God wants you to be tougher and stronger than others since you were young. You know how to take care of yourself so that when you grow up, you can become a great person." "Like Spider-Man?" Neil asked. Baya smiled. "You will become an even greater person than Spider-Man. Spider-Man didn't know as much as you did when he was 5 years old." Neil nodded. "I will definitely become someone braver than Spider-Man." "Of course." Baya smiled. "I'll bring you to the police station and see how they catch the bad guys." At 3 in the afternoon Baya listened to the music and sipped her coffee leisurely. Neil sat cross-legged on the sofa and flipped through the comics she had given him. Shen knocked on the door. "Come in," Baya said and put down the coffee cup. "They're all recruiting. It turns out that the orphanage is secretly an illegal organ trafficking agency. The director also confessed. She killed a child," Shen Zhonghuan reported. "Well, what about the children in the orphanage?" Baya asked worriedly. "The director has already told the governor that he will immediately send some people from other orphanages to take care of these children," Shen said. "Are the people we sent reliable?" The governor is also worried about the possibility of child abuse, so he asked the police to cooperate and station 2 police officers there to monitor them at all times. Baya nodded and said to Neil, "Now that you have good uncles and aunties to take care of you, you also have the police to protect you. From now on, you can happily spend time with your friends." "Thank you," Neil said sincerely. "Will 11's team members return to the company today?" Baya asked. "They'll be back at 3:30. "Okay." The police officers sent Neil back. The others were not back yet. Baya looked through her phone and thought of the person called Black. She took out her business card and made a call. "Hello, are you Black?" Baya asked politely. The other party was silent and did not speak. Baya thought that the signal was bad. Hello, can you hear me?" "Yes," he replied. Baya's heart trembled. This voice sounded familiar. "It's like this. I want to come to the research institute at 1300 hours tomorrow afternoon. Is that okay?" "Yes, call me when you're here," Black said. Baya frowned. "You're the person who saved me, right? I can recognize your voices." The other party fell silent again. Hello, Baya said. He replied, "Yes, but I hope you can keep it a secret." Baya replied. He hung up the phone. She felt that he was a very cold person. Moreover, he was very guarded and mysterious. But why did he have her photo on him? 3:30. The 11 team members were back. "Did you guys find anything?" Shen asked anxiously. They had been bombarded by reporters today. The director was in a bad mood and was angry. As the director's assistant, Shen was not having a good time either. Rui shook his head. "The culprit is very clean. There are no clues at all?" "Have you seen the photo album?" "It would be best if it was taken at home recently," Baya asked. "There is a photo album. I flipped through it but didn't find anything special," Ailey said. "Can I see the photo album too?" Baya asked. "Yes, I brought the photo album." Ailey took out the photo album from her briefcase and passed it to Baya. Baya put on disposable gloves and flipped through the album casually. When she saw what she was looking for, she pointed at the stuffed bear on the sofa. Did you guys find this toy at home? Rue looked over. I really didn't notice it. What about this? Baya pointed at a toy truck in the corner. Rue shook his head. This thing is so small. I really didn't notice it. What's wrong with it? The culprit is a person who pretends to be a clown. His nickname is Uncle Jack. He usually pretends to be a clown and gives toys to children at various shopping malls or amusement parks. He also gives roses to the children's mothers. When the mother receives the roses happily, the children will naturally lower their guard against strangers when they see that the mother is happy, Baya said. And then? Ailey was impatient and asked. He will cast a net and use the surveillance in the toys to monitor the family. He will observe and find the target of his attack as well as the time gap. Ailey didn't believe it. How free must he be? After all, it's not easy to find a family where the husband died. He is very patient and has his own way of judging. He will use a month to find and observe the family. Then, he will use another month to slowly test the waters. Finally, he will make his move, Baya explained. That's impossible. According to you, this case can be solved just like that with just you? What do you want us to do? Is everything we've done today for nothing? Ali complained. Baya smiled. I think you are using your time to target me instead of doing what you should be doing. I just can't stand people being arrogant and self-righteous, Ailey said in disdain. Whether it's arrogant and self-righteous, we will know in a week's time, Baya said calmly. Hello everyone. I am Chin Tang Tang. You can follow me on WeChat. Love Story Bookstore and listen to the radio dramas adapted from novels. Chapter 752. Then, she looked at Ivy. I'll have to trouble you for the next few days. You have to hack into the surveillance cameras of the major shopping malls and amusement parks and find the clown. The clown we're looking for has a lot of toys and roses, but there are surveillance cameras in his toys. If you find such a clown, you can arrest him immediately. Ivy pursed her lips, shrugged and rolled her eyes, still not believing Baya's judgment. Okay, I'll do it right away. If I find such a clown, I'll report it immediately, Ivy said in high spirits. Baya smiled. Thank you. She stood up and prepared to leave. Didn't someone say he was going to treat us? He's going back on his word again, Ivy said sarcastically. Baya looked at the time on her watch. See you at Barbara's Seafood at 6. She went home and felt a little tired. She habitually turned on the air conditioner, turned on the music, lit a sandalwood incense, and lay on the sofa, closing her eyes to rest. Suddenly, the image of a car rushing towards her flashed in her mind. Baya opened her eyes, which were filled with unknown fear. She stood up, increased the volume of the sandalwood incense, poured a glass of water, and gulped it down. She took a deep breath and gradually calmed down. She didn't go back to sleep, afraid that her imagination would run wild. She changed her clothes and went to the gym to practice yoga. When she came out, she looked at her watch. It was 17:20. She took a quick shower, changed her clothes, put on exquisite makeup, and went to Barbara's Seafood. Just as she reached the door, she heard someone shout, "Black!" Baya stopped in her tracks and looked towards the source of the voice. She saw the side profile of a man from Country A. His side profile was very good. He was resolute and cold, with a playful contour. He was wearing a black suit and a white shirt. The buttons on his sleeves were all meticulously buttoned. He was very cold, and when he raised his hand, he had the elegance of an aristocrat. He was a person with an extraordinary bearing. Was it Black whom she was going to meet tomorrow afternoon? Baya! Ivy shouted. Baya came back to her senses and looked at Ivy. She smiled. You've been here for a long time? Ivy was surprised. How did you know? The parking lot is more than 300 meters from here, and the temperature here is much lower than outside. You look like you've been here for a long time, Baya explained. I think you're not just a psychologist. You're even more professional than the police, Ivy said. In fact, they are all the same. Many professional police officers also study psychology and make judgments based on meticulous observation. An important part of psychology research is life experience, and as a police officer, you need to think more projectively, Baya said patiently. You don't look old. I read that you're 31 years old, but you look like you're 21, Ivy said shyly. Baya chuckled. That's because girls in a nation are more petite compared to American girls. That's why they have this illusion. I've seen you stand on your own 2 feet. I should be 7 years older than you. Ivy shrugged and hinted, I don't care about age or nationality. Heh. Baya chuckled and answered ambiguously, You're so outstanding. You'll definitely find a girl that suits you. Let's find a place to sit down first. They should be here by now. Baya saw a table for 10 and walked over. Black turned his head and looked at her. His gaze was deep and distant, so deep that it seemed as if he had entered another ethereal world. After Baya sat down, a waiter came over and handed over the menu. She handed the menu to Evie. Order whatever you want. Black opened the menu and said in surprise, It's so expensive. A king crab costs $100 per catty, and a 10 catty is $1,000. Just order if you like it. It's okay. Baya said indifferently. He put his hand by his mouth and said, Let me tell you a secret. I own this shop. Ivy's eyes widened in disbelief. Really? I like seafood, so I opened this shop. The business is quite good. You'll know when you try it. All of them are flown over. They're alive and they're raised in the cleanest seawater, Baya said. Ivy still could not believe it. Is it really yours? Don't tell anyone. Baya smiled and said to the waiter, The table over there is $15. The table for Americans is free. Yes. The waiter nodded respectfully. Ivy believed him. Then I'll order the king crab. I'll keep it a secret. Okay. Baya believed him. She waved when she saw that the other colleagues had arrived. Wow. Ellie looked at the fresh seafood in the middle of the hall in disbelief. It's hard to imagine. The style of this shop is amazing. It's like coming to a real seaside hotel. Baya gestured. Please sit. She said to the waiter, Bring 3 more menus. Soon, the waiter brought the menus over and distributed them to the others. Ellie looked at the price list. Baya, you make a lot of money as a psychologist, right? My grandpa is rich, Baya said frankly. Order whatever you want to eat. The king crab here is pretty good. There are also oysters. Then we'll have 1 king crab each. You don't mind, right? Ivy said. Ellie, a king crab weighs 5 pounds. Can you finish it? Ivy said indignantly. I can finish it alone. Did you eat yours? It's Baya who wants to treat us, Ali said sarcastically. It's okay. We'll have 1 each, Baya said indifferently. I also want 5 oysters and a sashimi. All right, you guys can order the rest. Ellie closed the menu. I can't finish 1 king crab. Half is enough. Since you said oysters are delicious, I'll have 2 oysters, Howard said. Other than oysters, conches are also delicious. Give me a few more conches, Baya suggested. All right, give me 2 more conches, Howard said. I want that conch too. I want 5 too, Ellie said. The other men looked at Ellie unhappily. They all felt that she was going too far. I'll have the same as Howard. I can't finish any more and it won't taste good overnight, Rue said with a smile. Rue, what do you mean? You guys can't even finish me. Are you still men? Ellie said sarcastically. Be careful that you don't get fat, Ivy said bluntly. Don't worry. I'm the kind of person who doesn't get fat just by eating, Ellie said arrogantly. I'll have the same as Howard, Ivy said. Baya smiled and said to the waiter, 15 conches, 15 conches, 2 sashimi, 3 king crabs, 5 lettuce salad, and a bottle of red wine. Yes. The waiter wrote it down and turned to place the order. Chapter 753. Baya looked at table 15. It was already empty. There was no one there. Baya smiled. He paid through an app, and with cash. App, the waiter replied. Give him the money back. I don't need him to pay, Baya said gently. Yes. The waiter poured them red wine respectfully and stood at the side. Baya, you're so rich. Why did you join our team? Ailey asked, puzzled. Of course it's not for money. Baya raised her glass elegantly and took a sip. Then why? Ailey asked curiously. Baya shrugged. She didn't want to say. I heard that you're good at psychological profiling. Can you profile me? Ailey said. She smirked and her eyes shone with confidence. Baya looked at Ali. After your parents divorced, they remarried. After they remarried, they each had a child. You excelled in your studies and were one of the best in your class, but you were despised by your classmates. You thought it was because of your family, so you hated your family so much that you wanted to destroy it. So, you seduced your stepfather, but your mother kicked you out. Ali looked at Ali and said, Your parents got divorced and remarried. Ailey widened her eyes in shock. She said in disbelief. How did you know all this? I didn't tell anyone. Even my information is fake. Do you have the ability to read minds and see through people's hearts? Baya flipped her hair. I don't have any ill intentions. If you don't want me to continue, I won't say it. Ailey finished the wine in her glass. I don't want to hear it anymore. The atmosphere became awkward. Baya, can you tell us how you did it? Rue asked curiously. We often say that personality determines success or failure. That's because personality determines behavior, and behavior leads to results. With a lot of details, micro-expressions, and physiological reactions, we can make a more reasonable profiling. Baya didn't hide anything. They wanted to learn and she was willing to share. Then I want to learn more from you. It'll be very helpful for me to find the murderer, Rue said with a smile. My pleasure. Ivy raised her hand and said eagerly, I want to learn too. I think it's very interesting. I've always liked psychology, and I've been paying attention to it for a long time. Yes. Is there anyone you can't see through? Howard asked curiously. Of course. Some people are very good at controlling their actions, emotions, and micro-expressions. In front of you, they are like the deep blue of the ocean. You can imagine them, but you can't figure them out, Baya explained. Have you ever met someone like that? Ali asked curiously. Baya paused for a moment. I do have a memory, but I can't remember the details. While they were chatting, the 3 king crabs were cut into 6 pieces and served to them. Each person also had a portion of the sauce, and there were 6 flavors of the sauce. Wow, it looks really good, Ivy exclaimed and licked her lips. Let's eat, everyone. Don't stand on ceremony, said Baya. Everyone took half a crab, broke off the leg, and peeled it. There was a lot of white and tender meat. They dipped it in the sauce and ate it. It's so delicious. Can you treat us again next time we come? Ali asked while eating. Before Baya could answer, Ivy said, There are 5 people in our team. We should take turns. It's your turn next time. Why is it my turn? Baya is rich. What's wrong with letting her treat us? Ali said matter-of-factly. Bill Gates is richer. Why don't you let him treat you? Ivy said bluntly. Why are you so agitated? Did I ask you to treat us? Baya hasn't said anything yet. Why are you so anxious? Are you in a hurry to reincarnate? Ali scolded in a weird tone. Ivy blushed. I just don't blame you for bullying others. Did I bully you? Little Four Eyes, if you piss me off, I'll beat you up. Ali raised her fist. We're all colleagues. We're a team, Howard said in a deep voice. I'm in a good mood today. I don't want to talk to you. Oh yeah, Howard, how much did you sign on the contract? Ali gossiped. Howard looked at Ali calmly. How much did you sign? I don't have much money. I just don't want to be a mercenary anymore. So Joan agreed to erase my record, Ali said. Baya chuckled. What are you laughing at? Ali looked at Baya unhappily. Your eyes are looking up and your nostrils are shrinking. That means you're lying, Baya said calmly. Ali was unhappy. What's so great about studying psychology? I think you're not honest. You're not even honest yourself. Why should others tell you the truth? Ivy said bluntly. Who said it? None of you said it. Ali looked at everyone and tore off the crab's leg as if she was venting. She then looked at Baya. You haven't said whether you'll treat us next time. It's better to talk about next time, Baya said ambiguously. She raised her glass, signaled to her, and took another sip. When half of the king crab was finished, there was a pile of shells on the table. The waiter came to collect them first. Ali still has half, still eating. The waiter served a kami and roasted oysters. They were all full. Rui was curious. This isn't just oyster, right? What is it? Try it. If you like it, you can order more, Baya suggested. Rui took one over and ate a little. It's super delicious. How did you make it? It's wrapped with a sweet, soft, and sticky layer. The texture is really good. I don't know how to describe it. I've never eaten something like this before. Everyone else took one. Listening to them, Ali eagerly took one and sucked the juice out of it. What a refreshing feeling. I heard a long time ago that people from country A are very particular about food. Many countries have too many oysters and they specially invite people from country A to eat them. It's really, really delicious, Rui exclaimed. I often watch a show that talks about the delicacies in country A. Just looking at it makes me hungry. I've always wanted to go to country A, Ivy said happily. There's indeed a lot of food in country A, but there are some that you guys don't want to eat, Baya said with a smile. What are they? Howard was curious. For example, newborn mice, Baya said. I've eaten mice before in the training camp. Raw. They really didn't taste good, Howard said with a frown. And worms fried and pickled, Baya continued. Ali covered her mouth. Stop talking. I'm going to vomit. Ali ate too much and her stomach started to feel uncomfortable. She ran to the washroom to vomit. Chapter 754. There's also the conch later. It's also very delicious. It's a processed conch cut into slices, Baya introduced. Did you get any other good clues from the child this time? Rui was still thinking about the case. Uncle Jack is the murderer according to my preliminary judgment. When we catch him, I think everything will come to light, Baya said. If this case is solved, you'll get the most credit, and we'll get nothing, Rui said dejectedly. You can't say that. There's an element of luck. When we went to ask this time, we happened to get some useful information. Sometimes we can't get it, so we still have to rely on teamwork. It's not like we're only working on this case, Baya comforted him. You're a very open-minded person, Rui said, raising his glass. Let's work hard together. Baya also sipped her wine. It was already 9:30 when they left Barbara's seafood restaurant. Baya drank some wine and didn't drive. Instead, she walked to the side of the road. A few hooligans passed by and whistled at Baya. Baya didn't like those people. She didn't pretend that she didn't see them and quickly got into the taxi. The driver didn't ask where Baya was going. He just drove and locked the door. Baya's heart skipped a beat. She looked at the driver defensively. The driver was wearing a mask and a cap. There were hooligans just now. She wanted to get in the car quickly and ignored the danger. She calmly sent out a message and located her location. She put her phone in her pocket and took out the electric baton from her bag without saying a word. The driver looked at Baya in the rearview mirror in surprise. Baya was resting with her eyes closed. Aren't you afraid? The driver asked curiously. Baya opened her eyes and looked at the driver. You should know who I am. If I die, it will definitely cause a sensation. You can't run away. Living in fear is actually worse than dying. I won't kill you. I want money, the driver said directly. Do you want to rob or borrow? Baya asked. The driver abruptly stopped the car by the side of the road and turned to look at Baya. What do you mean by that? When you have money, you can return it to me. You don't have to worry about being chased. You can do whatever you want, Baya said lightly. The man couldn't believe it. Are you really willing to lend it to me? Baya smiled. You're in charge of filing documents, right? You have a family member in the hospital, so you're in a rush for money. You're also very worried. Because of all this, you've made mistakes in your work. You've been fired, and you're at your wit's end. I heard from my friend that I'm very rich, so I asked you to pretend to be a chauffeur and wait for me at the door. You did it. The man was even more shocked. How did you know? The way you dress, your habits, the things you brought with you in the car, and the smell on your body. It's Ellie you're waiting for, right? I saw her purposely look at the road when she left. She had a meaningful smile on her face as if she was watching a good show, but she didn't walk towards the road, Baya said. The man's psychological defense was immediately broken. My dad needs an operation, and it needs 100,000 USD. I don't have a single cent now. After he said that, he realized that something was wrong. His car was surrounded by the police. He looked around in surprise, and fear flashed in his eyes. He looked at Baya in disbelief. If you say that you want to rob, then you're finished today. Your father is finished too. Luckily, you only want to borrow it. Leave your account number with the police later. Tomorrow at around 8, I'll transfer the money to you, but you'll need to go to the police station to give a statement, Baya said calmly. Thank you, the man said, touched. Baya smiled. Baya got out of the car and said to Shen, I'm afraid I'll have to trouble you. He did kidnap someone, but it didn't happen, so there's no need to detain him. But there's someone who instigated him. Ask him clearly. All right. Shen immediately went to do it. Baya called back again. She turned on the air conditioner, played some music, lit some sandalwood incense, and went to the bathroom to turn on the water. She had practiced yoga today, so she did a simple cleaning of the house. When the water was ready, she went to take a bath and closed her eyes. The image of her being kidnapped flashed through her mind, and she even fell off the car. Baya opened her eyes, and she was a little annoyed. Her phone rang. She saw that it was Su Chongha calling, and she immediately answered, Senior. I saw your speech. It was very good. You're a role model for the world of psychology, Su Chongha praised. Actually, it's not that. It's the effect of the media's publicity. Senior, some images keep appearing recently. You said that I purposely erased some people, but I'm worried that it won't work. It's normal to have images. The brain has too much information to process, and a lot of it is intertwined, so some images will suddenly appear. Don't think about it, just live your current life again, and find a handsome guy to marry. I heard that Alan is still waiting for you. Do you have a chance to develop a relationship with him? Su Chongha gossiped. Baya thought of Alan's gentle face. He can be matched with someone better, so I don't want to harm him. Recently, there's someone who gives me a strange feeling. Who? His name is Black, the head of security of a research institute. He wears a necklace, and I think there's a picture of me in it, Baya said with a smile. She felt a faint warmth in her heart. Do you know him? I don't think so. I saw his side profile, but the person in his necklace might not be me. It's also possible that I saw wrongly. I have some good fate with him. I'm going to see him tomorrow. I have some things to do. Do you want to develop a relationship with him? Not really. Baya subconsciously drew circles on the surface of the pool. It just feels good. It's safest to keep a certain distance. When you have time, come to America to meet him. To be honest, when you go to America, I want to move there again. The smog here is a little heavy, and my baby has rhinitis. My wife and child are the most important now, Su Chongha complained. It'll be best if you come to America. You know that I've been on TV recently, and many people have come to consult me. In addition, my reputation is getting better and better, and my clinic has endless patients. If you come over, I'll give you 50% of the shares. In the future, I'll leave the matter of going on TV to you. Are you serious? Su Chongha said excitedly. Why would I lie to you? When have I ever lied to you? Baya smiled. She had an endless amount of money, and she didn't care. I'll settle things here, and I'll be back soon. I'll contact you then, Su Chongha said. Okay, I'll contact you then. Baya hung up the phone and lay in the pool. If Su Chongha came over to help her, she wouldn't have to worry about the clinic. She would just have to see one patient every day. Hello everyone, I'm Qin Tang Tang. You can follow me on WeChat. Chapter 755. Baya got up at 6 o'clock every day and started her morning routine. Making breakfast, cleaning, watering the plants, and eating breakfast. She didn't eat the groceries she bought yesterday, so she didn't have to buy groceries today. She bought some flowers and arranged them simply when her phone rang. It was Shen and she picked it up. Baya, we found out that it was AI Li who instigated it. What do you want to do now? Shen asked. Baya's lips curled up. The chief wanted to use AI Li, but he didn't want to offend her, so he threw the problem to her. I feel that AI Lee's character isn't good, but she's very vengeful. If I offend her, it'll be troublesome. I'll treat this as her weakness and not close the case. It'll be a deterrent to her, and I don't like to be ruthless. All right, I know what to do. Are you coming to the police station in the morning? I got some cases from other places that were done by the same person. There might be new clues, Shin reported. I won't be coming today. I have a patient in the morning and I have to go to the research institute in the afternoon. Let's talk about it after we catch Uncle Jack. All right, I'll contact you then. Shen hung up. Bai Ya arranged the flowers and placed the roots in absorbent paper to ensure that they wouldn't wither within 2 days. Then, she fixed them with a colorful plastic paper. She placed the flowers in her car and started driving. She turned on the music and drove for about an hour before she reached a quiet villa. She pressed the doorbell. The door opened and a woman in her 50s stood at the door with a worried expression. Mr. Zhang, are you still not sleeping well? Bai Ya asked gently. The woman lowered her head and said guiltily, It's all my fault. I shouldn't have let him enter the entertainment industry. If he didn't, things wouldn't have turned out this way. What's done can't be changed. You have to take care of yourself so that you can take better care of him. Bai Ya consoled her and passed the flowers to the woman. This is for you. The woman looked at Bai Ya in surprise when she saw the flowers. Bai Ya smiled. I inserted it myself. I hope you like it. The woman nodded. I like it. I like it very much. It's even better than mine. No, I just learned a little bit from you. I'm going to see him now, Bai Ya said lightly and elegantly. Okay. He locked himself in the recording studio for 2 days, the woman said sadly. Then I'll go see him. Bai Ya went upstairs, walked to the room on the 3rd floor, and knocked on the door. I want to be alone. A man's voice came from inside. What if I say my name is Jing Jing? Bai Ya joked. After a while, the door opened. Bai Ya looked at the handsome man in front of her. Perhaps it was because he had locked himself in the room for 2 days. His beard had grown out. His skin was snow-white, and there were dark circles under his eyes. His eyes were red, and he looked very dispirited. He looked at her with a gaze that was filled with despair and pleading for help. Can I go to your room? Bai Ya asked. His working environment wasn't convenient for his treatment. Zhang Luoyue nodded and said hoarsely, Okay. Bai Ya went to his room and glanced around. Perhaps it was because his mother was in a bad mood. She didn't clean the room properly. It was gray and there wasn't a single thing that was bright. Take a seat first. Wait for me. Bai Ya said. He went downstairs. Zhang Luoyue's mother was cooking. Auntie, can you help me buy some flowers and potted plants? I want to decorate Mr. Zhang's room. If possible, buy a cat, Bai Ya said gently. Oh, I'll go right away. Zhang Luoyue's mother immediately took off her apron, turned off the gas, and went out. Bai Ya returned to Zhang Luoyue's room. He leaned against the sofa and closed his eyes in pain. His brows were tightly furrowed. How many hours have you slept this week? Bai Ya sat opposite him. Not more than 10 hours. My head hurts, my eyes hurt, my heart hurts, and my body feels weak. But I just can't sleep, Zhang Luoyue said weakly. Are you worried about your new album? Bai Ya asked. I'm worried that the sales won't be good. Recently, the market has been greatly affected by internet celebrities. There are all kinds of talent shows and newcomers every year. If I don't release songs, I'll soon be eliminated from the market. The popularity of the fans will pass, and I'll become a passerby, Zhang Luoyue said in pain. You still look at Weibo every day? Bai Ya asked. Yes, I don't dare to post anything. The day before yesterday, I posted something about food. There were only a few dozen comments and no one reposted it. It's even worse than an unknown internet celebrity, Zhang Luoyue said dispiritedly. That's normal. You basically don't update your Weibo. But I have more than 10 million people above me. Are they all zombies? They don't follow me anymore. What's the use of them? Zhang Luoyue said in frustration. Bai Ya basically understood the reason for his mental breakdown. There will always be talented people in every generation. The new generation will replace the old. This is the natural law of development. But it doesn't matter. Many artists who have been around for more than 10 years can make a comeback with one show or one song. What you need to do is to rest well. That way, you'll have the energy to compose a good song. I'm afraid it won't be good. When that time comes, I won't be able to take it, Zhang Luoyue said as he massaged his temples. I have an idea. After you compose a song, I'll get an experienced musician to listen to it for you. If they think it's good, you can post it. Then, you won't have to worry about it being bad, Baiya suggested. Music can easily be plagiarized, Zhang Luoyue said worriedly. Baiya smiled. That's even easier. You can get a few people to listen to it. If a big shot plagiarizes your song, it means that you're good. Moreover, if you sue them, you'll gain exposure and popularity. You'll return to the peak of your popularity. When Zhang Luoyue heard that, he was suddenly enlightened. His eyes lit up. What you said makes sense. I know what I should do now. Do you know when the brain is the most active? Baiya asked. Zhang Luoyue didn't understand and shook his head. It's when you're sleeping and dreaming. I remember there was a science teacher called Kekyul. He encountered a difficult problem. He couldn't write down the structure of benzene no matter what. When he was dreaming, he dreamt of carbon atoms that were constantly spinning. The long chains of carbon atoms were like snakes that were coiling around and grabbing onto his tail. That was when he suddenly came to a realization. So sleep more. It'll help your composing. I know. I'll go to sleep now, Zhang Luoyue said with a smile. Baiya took out a bottle from his bag and passed it to Zhang Luoyue. If you can sleep, then go to sleep. If you really can't sleep, just take one at 20. I don't want you to be too reliant on drugs. Thank you, Dr. Bai. Tidy yourself up first. It'll be easier for you to sleep when you're full. I want to set up your place. Let's do it for an hour, Baiya said. Hello, everyone. I'm Qin Tang Tang. Everyone can follow me on WeChat. Love Story Bookstore. Listen to radio dramas adapted from novels. Chapter 756. Zhang Luoyue's mother came back. Baiya went upstairs to decorate the room while Zhang Luoyue's mother prepared food for her. She spent half an hour decorating the room and went downstairs. Thank you, Dr. Bai. Please wait for a while. I'll be done with dinner. Stay for dinner before you leave, Zhang Luoyue's mother said happily when she saw Zhang Luoyue eating. There's no need for dinner. I have something important to do in the afternoon. Mr. Zhang, have a good sleep after dinner. I'll see you next week, Baiya said with a smile. See you next week, Zhang Luoyue said politely. Baiya nodded and left. She drove to a cafe near the Research Institute and ordered a steak set meal, a latte and a piece of chocolate cake. She had seen a study before. Sweetness could make people happy, beautiful music could relax people, and a meal could make them feel empty. She cut the steak elegantly, enjoying the delicacy. Then, she looked at the door. A man in a suit took a few steps forward. He was quite tall, and from her point of view, he was very handsome. He had an air of superiority about him, and his eyes were deep and profound. He looked at her, and she found him a little familiar. Black, Baiya said. Black walked towards her expressionlessly and nodded. Baiya. Baiya heard him say her name accurately. It should be Black. What a coincidence to see you here. Are you here for dinner too? He didn't say much. If you don't mind, let's eat together. After dinner, you can bring me to the Research Institute, Baiya said with a smile. Sorry to bother you. Black sat down opposite Baiya. Baiya raised her hand. Waiter. The waiter immediately passed the menu to Black. Black ordered the set meal and passed the menu back to the waiter. Your name is very special. It's called Black. Does it have a special meaning? Baiya asked curiously. He looked at her. His eyes were as deep as the universe. She could see his knowledge, temperament, and inner qualities. He had received higher education since he was young, had been successful, and had also been injured. Other than that, she couldn't tell what he was thinking. My world, I think it's just like the name, full of darkness, Black said sadly. Everything will be fine. Think about it from another perspective. Perhaps it's a sunny sky, Baiya comforted him with a smile. Black he lowered his eyes and didn't say anything else. He was a man of few words.
Baya looked at the necklace on his neck. There's something that might be very abrupt, but if I don't ask, I think I won't be able to sleep well for a long time. Who is the person in the photo on your necklace? Wife, he said in a deep voice. Baya paused. There was a strange feeling in her heart as she looked at Black's handsome face. If she was his wife, his attitude didn't seem like it. It was too calm. Does your wife look like me? Baya asked. Black looked at Baya seriously. You're completely different from her. Oh. Baya felt a little awkward. She might have misjudged him at that time. She smiled and said, Where is she now? She went to Bai's world, Black said in a deep voice. Baya didn't like the way he was feeling now. It seemed very gloomy and also like he had given up on himself. Many of her patients were like him, but she still wanted to get along with positive people because her emotions could be easily affected. I'm sorry. After saying that, Baya didn't want to say anything else. She took a sip of coffee and continued to cut the steak. Black's gaze lingered on her face, as if he was afraid that he would lose another second if he looked at her. No one noticed that he was clenching his fists tightly under the table. Baya's phone rang. She saw that it was Alan. She smiled and picked up the call. Hello. Alan. Why are you calling me at this time? Baya asked happily. I miss you so I called you, Alan said with a smile. Being thought of by you, I think I can have a good night's sleep tonight. Then I must call you every day to tell you how much I miss you. I want you to sleep well every day. Sure, Baya said with a smile. Alan smiled too. I'm coming to America tomorrow. Are you free to meet me tomorrow? Of course. I'll pick you up when you arrive tomorrow. You can stay at my house for free, Baya said with a smile. Alan was in a good mood. Then I'll take care of all your expenses, including the bag. Then I'll buy a bag like crazy. It can cure anything, Baya said jokingly. Let's make a deal. If you don't buy it, I'll buy it and leave it at your house. He, all right? You're as rich as a country. I don't feel bad for you at all if I use your money. Black's expression was so bad that it was as if dark clouds were floating in the sky and a storm was about to start. He clenched his fists so tightly that his nails were almost digging into his flesh. Fortunately, his nails were very short. Baya ended the call with Alan. She hung up and put her phone in her bag. Boyfriend? Black asked sarcastically. Better than boyfriend. Soulmate? That's more appropriate, Baya explained. Black's expression became even worse. He turned around and left. Baya looked at his cold back and guessed that he was used to giving orders. He was very arrogant and impolite. However, it did not affect her happy mood. She continued to eat her steak. Soon, the waiter served his food. There were chicken wings. She wanted to eat them, so she put one in. After she finished the wing, she awkwardly realized that Black had returned. He sat opposite her and did not speak. I'm sorry. I thought you left and ate one of your wings. You can eat something else first. I'll make it up to you, Baya said and waved at the waiter. The waiter walked over. I'll have another chicken wing, Baya said with a smile. Yes, madam, please wait, the waiter said and went to place the order. Baya was calm as if nothing had happened. She continued to eat her steak. I heard that you can hypnotize people's memories so that they can forget what they want to forget, Black said as he looked at her. Baya nodded. Theoretically, yes. However, many people don't want to forget that the pain they feel now is equivalent to the joy they had in the past. Once hypnotized, their memories will be blank. Chapter 757. Baya was cutting the steak. She did not notice his strange expression and explained enthusiastically, one is someone who can't take care of themselves and has lost their ability to think. Their family makes the decision for them. The other is someone who has decided to let go and start a new life. Although hypnosis can block the subconscious, it depends on the patient's own effort to succeed. They have to work together. Sadness flashed in Black's eyes. He lowered his gaze and continued cutting the steak. Baya felt that he had something on his mind. However, he did not look like someone who liked to talk, so she did not ask. She had heard too much about other people's worries and troubles. She continued cutting the steak. Neither of them spoke until Baya was done eating. She had a huge appetite. When she went to see the doctor before, the doctor said that she was very weak. Her sugar content was low, and her blood pressure was low. She had already forgotten a lot of things in the past. She was probably unhappy, which was why she tortured her body to the point that it was unrecognizable. Su Changhe showed her a video. It was a video of herself before she was hypnotized. She was very haggard before she was hypnotized. Her eyes were filled with unhappiness, decadence, despair, and she had seen through life and death. She told herself not to think about the past. If she forgot, forget it. She had to start a new life. She had to smile at the falling leaves in the courtyard, the rolling clouds, and appreciate the beauty of a world. She vaguely knew in her heart that recalling the past meant pain. Humans had the instinct to avoid pain and pursue pleasure. She did too. Black, do you think we should go to the research center? Baya asked kindly. Why do you want to go to the research center? They study the structure of the brain. Blaise frowned at her. To be honest, I've hypnotized myself before to forget the unhappy memories. However, hypnosis only affects the subconscious. Once the subconscious relaxes, some memories will pop up. I want to know if there's a way to completely forget the things I don't want to remember, Baya said sincerely. Black's eyes reddened. If that's your goal, there's no need to go. I don't have such a skill. I'll inform you when the time comes. Baya did not expect to be rejected directly. But I still want to go. Sorry for the trouble. Let's go then. Black put $200 on the table. Baya glanced at the table and let him pay. After all, the seafood meal last time cost her thousands of dollars. You ate early, Baya said. I have no appetite, Black said coldly. Baya felt awkward again. It was better for her to shut up. She did not like men of few words. They were not easy to get along with. Black got into his car, and so did Baya. They followed him to the entrance of the research center. Black got out of the car and walked towards the door. He gestured for them to let him go. Baya followed him to the security department of the research center. He gave her a protective gown, gloves, and a mask. She followed behind him and looked at the people who were doing research. They used chimpanzees for experiments, and there were also people who died as donors. Unknowingly, she walked to the director's office. Black knocked on the door and said to Baya, "This is the director's office. You can ask him if you want to know anything." After saying that, Black turned and left. He turned around and left, cold and unfeeling. He was contacting her for work. Baya did not want to interact with this person too much. She pushed the door open and entered. "Hello, I'm Baya," Baya introduced. The director stood up politely. "I know. I was notified. I saw your speech last time. It was quite good. I also want to find a chance to meet you. My specialty is far from yours. My specialty is far from yours. I only know a little about the brain. I'm curious about something. Take depression for example. When a person is depressed, they will lose interest in the things they used to be interested in. They don't want to do the things they used to do, and they might even vomit. Is that why?" Baya asked a professional question as soon as she arrived. This is also the field we are exploring. Before depression, patients will often suffer from insomnia, pessimism, and disappointment. They will feel that their days will not be good. Our suggestion is to let the patient sleep and give them some stimulants so that they won't be so pessimistic. However, no medicine can solve the problem. What's really useful is to adjust the mental state. Speaking of the mental state, it's really a magical thing. I had a patient who was only 10 years old before. She suffered from dissociative pain, a mental disorder. It was real pain. She would feel a headache one day, a heartache the next, and the pain in her legs the day after tomorrow. She would feel pain wherever she thought of it. In fact, it was because of the pressure her parents put on her to study, which made her afraid of going to school and taking exams. These pains were real, but what was the cause? Baya fired the second bullet. Hee. The director smiled awkwardly. Indeed, stress can cause a lot of negative emotions in people. We've done experiments before. Depression, sadness, and sadness can cause the body to produce toxins that destroy and harm the nerves. On the other hand, joy and excitement can produce good substances. Can these chemicals be developed in the near future? No.
These substances are very subtle and we don't know how to extract them. However, I believe that science is so advanced. It should be possible in the future, the director said passionately. There's one more thing. I have done a study before. Using primary school students as an example, those who want to learn will focus their minds on reading. Those who don't want to learn will not want to listen to the teacher. This is also determined by the mind. Focus, focus. Is there a type of medicine that can help children focus their minds? Baya continued to ask. The mind is actually similar to the drive of the brain. The brain controls the activities of the other parts of the body. The heart is the power source and the other parts are used to generate electricity. The entire center of activity is the brain. Through the external environment and the stimulation of words, the state of the mind can be changed. Therefore, the brain is really a very mysterious existence. There is too much knowledge in it that we need to explore, the director said in an official manner. Baya was a little disappointed. I have an idea. I want to ask. Can you guys extract a part of a person's memory now? We can't do that. But in the near future we can increase the memory. However, there will be many side effects. Increase the memory? What do you mean? Chapter 758. Baya understood. Thank you, Director, for your explanation. I've learned a lot from you. Haha, you're flattering me. The director felt guilty. He could not answer most of Baya's questions. Then can I walk around? Baya asked. Yes, but don't go anywhere other than the chairman's office. Our chairman doesn't like to be exposed, and he doesn't want anyone to know who he is. If you accidentally find out, you might not be able to leave this place, the director said half-jokingly. All right, I'll keep that in mind, Baya said and left the director's office. She looked around casually, watching as those people studied. In fact, she did not understand anything, and the more she looked, the sadder she felt. She decided to leave. She walked towards the main door and saw Black at the door. He walked towards her. I heard that Dr. Bai doesn't really see patients? Baya was slightly stunned. She explained, I do see patients, but I don't see much. There are more things to do. Can I cut in the queue? I've signed up, but you told me that you have to queue, Black said in a low voice. Well, Baya was put in a difficult position. Actually, other doctors see me the same way. My legends are all exaggerated by the media. So you don't agree? Black's eyes darkened. They were cold. Only by knowing how to reject would there be no worries. I'm sorry, I really don't see patients anymore. There are too many people. To be honest, after I went on TV, our clinic's phone has been blowing up, Baya said with a smile. Black Baya did not want to be with him anymore. She nodded and walked out of the door. Black stood there, stunned for a long time. His eyes were filled with dark emotions. He made a call. Cheong, I want to join the new organization that Baya is in. Please make the arrangements. Baya came out of the research center. It was still early. She wanted to reward herself that night, so she took out all the chicken wings and started researching. She cut the vegetables into small pieces and skewered them on a wooden stick to make soup for skewers. It was already 17 p.m. when she was done. Her phone rang. She saw that it was an unknown number, so she hung up. Her phone rang again. It was still the same unknown number. She picked up. Baya, what do you mean? What good is it for you to chase me away? Ali said angrily. Baya could tell it was Ali's voice. I didn't chase you away, and I don't have the ability to do so. Joan told me that he found out that I kidnapped you. It's up to you whether he wants to keep me here or not. You're going to kill him, aren't you? Ali said angrily. What I'm saying is that I'll keep you here, but I won't file or dismiss the case of kidnapping me. It's a warning to you. You can ask Joan about it. It's up to you whether you believe me or not. Yeah, he is, Cheong said. He. Yeah, he. You, he. Cheong. He, you, him. Baya sighed helplessly. In this world, there are too many traps and undeserved disasters. The facial mask you use may rot your face, the cucumber you eat may be poisonous, the road you walk on may collapse, and getting to know someone inexplicably is provoking the Grim Reaper. Baya knew that Ali had a bad personality. She was like a bug. She would be in trouble if she was pestered. However, there was nothing she could do even if she wanted to pester her. She had to take things as they came. She put the chicken wings in the oven and turned on the TV. She started eating skewers. The TV was still broadcasting the serial murders. Cheong was being chased by reporters for an interview. He was getting impatient and said, "We have the whereabouts of the murderer. He will be caught in a week." Baya frowned and called Ivy. "Did you find the clown?" "I found a few places. I've been following them. One of them is exactly what you said. He lives in a trailer," Ivy said. Baya said anxiously, "If he sees the news, he will leave here tonight and go to another city. He is too cautious. As soon as Cheong says that she has his whereabouts and will arrest him within a week, he will definitely leave. He has also committed 4 crimes in this city, so he can leave with peace of mind. Send me his whereabouts now, and I will call Cheong." "Okay." Baya called Cheong immediately. "The murderer will escape tonight. Ivy has found his whereabouts. He must be caught today." "Okay, I'll arrange it right away," Cheong said. He was under a lot of pressure. If he didn't solve the case, the media would annoy him to death, so he took it seriously. After Baya hung up the phone, she lost her appetite for skewers. She called her neighbor next door. "Aunt Hattie, are you home? I made a lot of skewers." "Yes, come over," Hattie said directly. Baya carried the pot to the villa next door. Hattie was already waiting for her. In the end, it was Baya who brought the pot over. "Baya, you're the best." Baya smiled. Hattie was a warm-hearted person. She took good care of her and was straightforward. If she liked something, she liked it. If she didn't like it, she didn't like it. She had eaten the skewers she made for Hattie previously, and she liked it very much. "Have you eaten?" Hattie asked. "I've prepared it at home." "You guys eat first," Baya said with a smile. "Thank you. I'll send the pot to you tomorrow after I wash it. By the way, I have some blueberry jam. I made it myself. Take 2 bottles with you. It's good for your eyes," Hardy said as she took out 2 bottles of blueberry jam from the fridge. Baya didn't stand on ceremony with her. She took the blueberry jam and said, "Thank you, Aunt Hattie." She went back. It was strange. She wasn't in a good mood just now. She went out for a walk and met the warm Aunt Hattie. After a few words, she felt hungry again. Humans were really strange. Their minds could change many things. She ate the noodles again. There were still tomatoes in the fridge. She fried the tomatoes and eggs on the noodles. Then, she took out the grilled chicken wings and ate happily. She cleaned up the house, did yoga, washed her clothes and took a shower. When she came out of the bathroom, she heard a bang. Someone threw a brick at the window. Baya guessed that it was a prank by AI Lee. It was normal. Their salary was very high this time. AI Lee was short of money, and without this high-paying job, she would definitely be upset. It was very reasonable for her to do something to take revenge. She didn't care. She had specially installed the glass here. Even bullets couldn't break it, not to mention a stone. Her house looked very warm. In fact, the security was very good. After all, she lived as a single woman. She went to her room and heard another bang. She sighed helplessly. She opened the curtains and looked downstairs. AI Lee was fighting with a man. She didn't know the man, but it was obvious that he was helping her. Moreover, his hands were very good. He was above AI Lee. Chapter 759. Who was that man? Was he just passing by? Baya had her suspicions, but no matter what, she could have a good night's sleep. She had to be careful the next day. She guessed that she might catch the clown that night, and Joan would call her the moment they caught him. She might be sleeping. She didn't want to be disturbed, or she would have a splitting headache when she woke up. She switched off her phone and went to sleep. When she woke up, it was 6:15 in the morning again. She went to brush her teeth, wash up, make breakfast, and water the plants before turning on her phone. Her phone was filled with calls from Joan, her team members, Ellie, and 2 strangers. She called Joan. Joan hurriedly answered the call. "Baya, we caught the clown. Just like you said, his car was full of toys, roses, and even cameras. Is this person Uncle Jack?" "He didn't say a word when we asked him," Joan said anxiously. Did you find the computer in his car? Get Ivy to decrypt his movie, and we should be able to see a lot of videos of the victims' families. He doesn't have to say anything, and we have solid evidence, Baya suggested. He realized that he was being chased by the police, so he guessed that he might have been discovered. He's really a cautious person, so he burned the computer and destroyed the evidence. We saved the toys and flowers, Joan explained. Okay, I got it. I'll arrange the patients this morning. I'll come after breakfast, Baya said and hung up. While she was eating, she turned on the TV. The news was about the clown who burned his car with the clown. She scanned the screen and saw a picture. She called Joan. Joan, there's a picture in the clown's car. Did you take it? Are you talking about the clown's picture? Joan asked. Find out what happened to him when he was young, and tell me the details when I come, Baya said. She hung up and continued eating. After breakfast, she didn't go grocery shopping. She wanted to solve the problem in the morning, then go grocery shopping and have a good meal. When she arrived at the police station, the other team members were there too, except for Ellie. You guys are early, Baya said. To be exact, we came last night and haven't gone back yet, Rue said with a yawn. Thank you all for your hard work. Let's go back and rest. Now that we've caught him, he won't be able to escape anytime soon, advised Baya. Rue yawned again. I want to learn psychology from you, so I'll leave after you finish the interrogation. Joan said that she'll find another person to join us. I guess that person will come later. Okay. Baya nodded. I'll go to the evidence room to get something. I'll accompany you, Rue said. Ivy immediately stood up when she saw Rue accompanying her. I'll go too. Let's go together, Baya said. She went to the evidence room and looked at the evidence they had collected about the clown. She took a very old toy and a photo. Why are you taking these? Rue asked, confused. The old things that he left behind must be the ones that he treasured the most, and the ones that left a deep impression on him, Baya explained. She went to Joan's office first and found out about Uncle Jack's past. She poured a cup of coffee, brought it to the interrogation room, and placed it in front of the clown. The clown looked at Baya in surprise, but did not say anything. Baya sat opposite him. Drink it. You must be sleepy and hungry. Tell me, what do you want to eat? I'll bring it for you the next time I come in. Don't think that I'll be grateful just because you treat me like this. I didn't kill him. You've got the wrong person. Please let me go. I still have to work at the next location and give toys to the children, the clown said with wide eyes. There's a camera in the toy. Who are you trying to fool? Ivy said with disdain. Baya did not expose him. Jack, did you know that Neil misses you? He was arranged to go to an orphanage, and he was very unhappy. The director of the orphanage was not a good person, and she specialized in organ trafficking. When Neil found out, she often beat Neil up. This was reported on the news, but what was not reported was that Neil really missed you. I don't know who you're talking about. What Neil? I don't even know him, Jack argued. Do you miss your Uncle Jack? Baya asked. Jack was stunned. His eyes were locked. I won't say anything for 24 hours. He's still alive. He was released from prison. Did you know that? Baya said. He was released. Jack was shocked. He lowered his head so that no one could see his expression. He frowned. Why are you telling me this? He said that he was very close to you. When he was young, he liked you the most. So when he saw you smiling at him, he couldn't bear to kill you. He treated you like his own son. If it's possible, he wants to see you, Baya continued. Why was he released? He killed my mother, my grandfather, my grandmother, and my brother? Jack still couldn't calm down and asked. He was diagnosed with brain cancer and couldn't live more than a month. However, he has been in prison for more than 20 years and has been doing well. He's a special case. I won't forgive him. He made me lose my family. I don't want to see him either, Jack said with his eyes wide open. So if Neil finds out that you pretended to be his father and killed all his family, he probably won't forgive you, Baya said calmly. I didn't kill anyone, Jack denied immediately. I'm not here to make you admit whether you killed someone or not. You have a habit of recycling dolls, but you don't throw them away. That's why the dolls have the victim's fingerprints and blood on them. Impossible. I wash the dolls I recycle at least 3 times. There won't be any blood or fingerprints left, Jack blurted out. Oh. Oh. In the surveillance room outside the interrogation room, everyone was in an uproar. He admitted. Baya has a way. She went in for a while and got the answer. That's amazing, Baya, Ivy said in admiration. No matter how we asked, he wouldn't say anything. After Baya went in, she got the answer so easily. How did she do it? Master Rue felt proud. They were all so excited that they didn't see a tall man enter the surveillance room. He looked at Baya on the screen with deep eyes. His woman seemed to be getting better without him. How could he make her have him in her heart again? Chapter 760. Jack realized that he had said the wrong thing and explained in a panic. I mean, my dolls are all recycled from other people's houses. In order to make sure that they are all clean for the children, I wash them all, so there's nothing that's dirty. Baya didn't say anything and just looked at him. Jack's eyes flashed and he looked at Baya in panic. Baya looked at him confidently. Jack, tell me, how did your Uncle Jack kill your family? He's a pervert. He locked me in the car, went in, and used a knife to kill my mother, brother, grandpa, and grandma. Blood, it's all blood. Jack was in a trance. He was terrified, horrified, and in pain. Baya placed the toy on the table. He gave this to you, right? Jack knocked the toy on the table to the floor. He's the devil. Yes, he's the devil. He even taught you how to kill. It's all his fault. He doesn't deserve forgiveness, Baya said. Yes, he was the one who taught me. He told me to use the clown to get close to others, especially to find a husband's family. As long as I control the child, they won't dare to struggle. Jack said everything, not even trying to argue. He told you to pretend to be a dead woman's husband? He used 2 years to become my father, but I just need to use a mask. Not 2 years, but 2 hours, and I can become their father. It's fast and convenient, Jack said proudly. What about Hess? She loved you, Baya asked. She said she loved me, but she was afraid that I would sleep with another man in secret. She was AB*TCH, so I dismembered her body. Women are all the same, Jack said sinisterly. Jack, let's get back to business. What do you want to eat? I'll bring it for you next time, Baya said simply. Jack looked at Baya and asked confusedly, You're really bringing it for me? I've read your heart before. What would have happened if your Uncle Jack didn't enter your family? Although you don't have a father, you have a loving mother, brother, grandfather, and grandmother. You are very smart, and your dream is to become an astronaut. I think you can succeed. Jack was moved and in pain. He held his coffee cup tightly and lowered his head. His body was shivering. However, fate has arranged for you to become a clown killer. Because of the changes that happened when you were young, you gained a sense of accomplishment and pleasure from killing clowns. However, you still have a bit of kindness. You will never kill the last child. That's not because you want to repeat your history, but because you want these children to have a different future. Right, Jack? Baya asked softly. Jack looked at Baya with reddened eyes. Will I die? Will he be sentenced to death? The world after death. Have you ever thought about what it would be like? Baya asked. Jack was silent, dazed. Baya smiled. Jack, you've been lonely for a long time. Since you don't want to tell me what you want to eat, there's nothing I can do. Baya stood up. I want to eat hamburgers, salad, ham, and turkey, Jack said, looking at Baya. I'll get someone to bring them to you tonight. Sleep in peace. You don't have to be so tense anymore, Baya said and left. Cries could be heard coming from behind the door. Baya, you're amazing. You broke through his psychological defense so quickly, Joan praised. Human nature is the same, Baya said. Let me introduce you to the new team members. Then, I have a new case for you. This serial killer case has shocked the United States and the whole world. Your group will soon be famous all over the world, Joan said in a good mood. It's a bit intense to work on a new case so soon. I want to rest today, Baya said. Oh sure. I'm just telling you about the case. It's been unsolved for a long time. No one can solve it. If you solve it, you'll be famous. If you don't, there's nothing to say, Joan said in a friendly tone. Okay. Let's go and meet the new team members, Baya said and walked to the office. The team members rushed to her as soon as she entered. Rui praised. Baya, you're amazing. You'll be our team leader from now on. We admire you. We can discuss it together. Baya looked behind Rui and saw Black. You're the new team member? Baya asked directly. Black nodded. Baya thought about it. Their team and the research center were all funded by the same person. As the director of the research center security, it was normal for him to be transferred to their team to replace Ellie. Then we'll work hard together, Baya said casually. The director came over and said to Baya, Black, you guys met yesterday. Let me introduce you. Black is your new team member. Joan, we only have one woman in our team. Isn't it a little uncoordinated? Howard asked. Believe it or not, there won't be a single woman in the future, Joan replied. Haha. Howard smiled awkwardly. Black glanced at Baya, his eyes dark. He wanted to say something, but Joan stopped him. Shen, tell them about our case. Shen came in with the documents. Joan, can't you let us take a break? We haven't slept since yesterday, Ivy complained. Take a break. We're going to talk about the case today. Since it's unsolved, you can start investigating tomorrow, Joan explained again and gestured for Shen to start. Shen gave the documents to everyone and said, this was discovered by the Marine Exploration Team in the first half of the year. Baya looked at the documents. There were 6 cages in total. Most of them contained skulls, some had clothes, and some had teeth. The last 3 corpses in the cages were relatively fresh, with some muscle tissue. We did some calculations. There were 20 people in total. Since they were thrown into the sea, we can't determine the cause of death. Judging from the osteoporosis, these cages weren't put in at the same time. Due to the influence of ocean currents, plants, and other organisms, many bones are missing. The skulls are bigger, so they're still inside, Shen said. The last corpse in the cage still has muscle tissue. Can we extract DNA? Baya asked. Yes, but the database doesn't have these people. Their fingerprints are all gone, so it's hard to find them, Shen explained. What about using the skull to restore the face? Baya asked again. We've done everything. We've added tissues and skin according to the appearance of the skull, and we can roughly restore 60% to 80% of the original appearance. We've posted it on the internet, and in the past half a year, only one person has come forward to look for him, and Chapter 761. And what? Rui asked. The person who claimed the family provided a photo. We matched them, and the match was only 30%. So no one claimed it, Ivy said. Shen nodded. Yes. Were the cages found in the same place, or were they found in different places? Baya asked suspiciously. Basically in the same area. There were several heavy stones in the cages to hold them in place, Shen said. Baya closed the file. I suggest that the exploration team go to that place again. There might be new corpses. We have to be quick. Okay, I'll contact them right away, Joan said and went out to make a call. Baya looked at the others. They had stayed up late last night and were still awake. Everyone, go back and get some rest. We'll talk about this case tomorrow. Okay. See you tomorrow, Baya, Rui said. Let's have lunch together. My treat, Black said looking at Baya. Baya's phone rang. Seeing that it was Alan, she smiled and answered. Let me guess. You're either getting on the plane or you've already gotten off. I'm at Seattle International Airport. I'll call you now. Where shall we meet? Alan asked. Baya smiled. I'll send the address to your phone now. See you later. Hey, okay. See you later. Alan hung up. Baya looked at Black. Sorry, my friend is coming. I can't have lunch with you guys. Black's expression darkened. You can ask your friend to come. No need. Baya rejected him directly. She sent her address to Alan and walked out of the office. Black looked at her back and frowned. He seemed to be shrouded in gloom. She went out to buy vegetables. There should be farmers selling vegetables in the market. American markets were actually different from those in a country. For example, most people bought vegetables in supermarkets. However, she knew a very good place where farmers picked fresh vegetables every day. There were no pesticides or hormones. She often bought them. However, there were no live fish, live prawns, or live chickens here. They were generally frozen. If you want to eat fresh, it's better to go to the farm and buy it directly, or go fishing yourself. She loved fishing. In the past, when she was free, she would sit by the lake for an afternoon and catch a lot of fish, secretly raising them in the big pond. She hid behind the flowers and plants. Most people wouldn't know and wouldn't report her. She usually fed it twice a week, no more than that. She felt that if she fed the fish too much food, it would lose the original taste of the fish. She would go fishing after she finished eating. As for the pork, a few months ago, she went to the farm and asked them to kill a pig. She made various kinds of pork, such as salted pork, bacon, sausage, bacon, pork jerky, pork chops, pork meatballs, flour meatballs, and so on. She divided them into small bags and put them in the fridge. Therefore, she usually only needed to buy fresh vegetables, fruits, and seasonings. She quickly bought groceries and went home. She took out pork chops, pork jerky, tenderloin, and small ribs from the freezer and thawed them in the microwave. She washed the fruit, put it on the plate, and washed the vegetables. The doorbell rang. She wiped her hands and walked to the door. She looked through the peephole. It was Alan. She smiled and opened the door. Faster than I thought. Because I brought the everlasting flower this time, not the fresh flowers. Alan handed the everlasting flower behind his back to Baya. Baya smiled and took it. If it's for decoration, the everlasting flower is more suitable. It will never wilt and never wilt. It's best to have some everlasting flowers in the house. She turned around and placed the everlasting flower in the basket on the wall. Very creative. I like it. Alan smiled as he entered the door and glanced at the house. Your place is very good. It's very elegant. Did you design the decorations yourself? Yes, when I bought this place, I also felt that it was very elegant. The environment is good, and the decorations were done according to my ideas. Do you want to stay upstairs or downstairs? Baya asked. Do you want to stay upstairs or downstairs? Alan asked. Baya pointed to the sky. Upstairs. The pavilion closest to the water enjoys the moonlight first. I'll stay upstairs too. Baya smiled happily. Your Chinese is not bad. I guess that you would stay upstairs. Go and take a look. The first room on the left of the staircase. I've placed bamboo in your room. You're allergic to pollen, right? Try not to go to the backyard. I've planted a lot of flowers. Yes, I can't wait to take a look. Alan carried his luggage upstairs. Baya continued to cook in the kitchen. She had just finished chopping the pork chops when Alan came downstairs. This place of yours is really nice and unique. The scenery has been specially decorated by you. I really want to stay here for the rest of my life. Alan sighed. If you come, I'll be more than happy to welcome you. With you around, I won't be that lonely. I'll definitely take good care of you. Don't hesitate and move in. I have a lot of rooms here, Baya said with a smile. Are you telling the truth? If you say it again, I'll take it seriously. Alan looked at him with a deep gaze. Really? Of course, if you have a girlfriend, then it'll be a different story. Baya turned around, opened the oil pan, and placed the pork chops inside. There was a knock on the door. I'll go and open the door, Alan said. Baya was worried that it was Ellie's prank that scared Alan. Alan, help me place the pork chops inside. I want to make braised pork chops. I'll go and open the door. Baya came to the door and looked through the peephole. It was actually black. She opened the door in surprise. Why are you here? After that, Shen sent some information. Since you've already left, I'm here to deliver it to you, Black said. Oh, thank you. Baya took the information from him. He still stood there and did not leave. Baya thought for a while and said politely, Since you're here, do you want to have a meal together? But I'm still cooking. It's not done yet. I have some details about the case that I want to discuss with you, Black said in a businesslike manner. Oh, then you'll have to wait for a while. I'm cooking. Don't worry. Black entered the room and looked at the layout and decorations of her room. It was elegant and quiet. Only the everlasting flowers on the wall did not seem to match the color of the room, making it stand out. Xiaoya, are you going to put in the cooking wine? Alan came out of the kitchen and was slightly surprised to see Black. Black nodded at Alan. Take a seat first, Baya said to Black and walked into the kitchen. Chapter 762. I won't give up on her. Alan, just give up, Gu Lingqing said in a low voice. Alan scoffed. She told me that she loved you and didn't want me to get hurt. She told me not to hold out any more hope for her. Now that you're together, I want to see her happy, so I let go and returned to being a good friend. Now, she doesn't love you anymore. She's afraid that she'll soften her heart, so she even hypnotized herself. I don't think you're competitive with me now. I don't care about her past, I only care if she's willing to be with me. I had no choice but to leave. But you forgot the sincerity and support between a husband and wife. You abandoned her to do what you thought was what she wanted, but it wasn't what she wanted. Whether I quit or not doesn't depend on you, it depends on her. I can give her comfort and peace of mind. It's not explosive, but it'll last forever. Gu Lingqing frowned. Your asthma is very serious. How are you going to give her forever? I'll be careful as long as she's around. I won't let anything happen to me. Let's compete fairly. If she falls in love with you again, I have nothing to say. If not, I want to give her a happy life. Gu Lingqing's eyes darkened as he looked at Bai Ya in the kitchen. His eyes darkened further. Bai Ya was busy in the kitchen and did not notice the commotion outside. She came out of the kitchen with a bucket and said to Gu Lingqing, Black, my friend has asthma. I need you to help me catch 2 crucian carps from the pond in the backyard. I'll cook fish for you for lunch. Sure. Gu Lingqing took the bucket from Bai Ya's hand and went to the backyard to catch 2 crucian carps. She watched as Alan chatted happily with Bai Ya in the kitchen. The weather here is actually oceanic. It rains from time to time. It'll be fine once you get used to it. Just carry an umbrella in your bag at all times. If the weather is good this Sunday, let's go fishing together. Go fishing on the sea? This is my first time, Alan thought. The fish here are easier to catch. Let me tell you, they call black carp, grass carp, big head carp, silver carp, salmon and so on Asian carp. Because they have no natural enemies here, they multiply very quickly. There are many of them in many lakes. You have to greet them. They can open them to us for free, but you have to let them know. Otherwise, it will be troublesome to go fishing for wild fish, said Bai Ya. Is Asian carp a marine fish? Alan was a little confused. It's freshwater fish. I've confused the topic. Saltwater fish are easy to catch. If you catch them, you can directly make them into sashimi, grilled or fried. I'm going there now, said Bai Ya with a smile. Alan also laughed. Yeah, I can't wait to talk about it. Do you have time in the afternoon? Why don't we go this afternoon? I happen to have a cruise ship that can send you there, Gu Lingqing interrupted. Sure. There's no time like the present. Let's go when we get down, said Bai Ya happily. She quite liked fishing. Alan twitched the corner of his mouth. Do you need my help? No need. I also like to cook. So don't fight with me. Bai Ya took out the fish from the bucket and cleaned it neatly. Alan and Gu Lingqing looked at each other and came out from the kitchen. Alan said with a smile, It's okay. I live here. Gu Lingqing's face darkened. He flipped open the information he brought and said meaningfully, It should be temporary. He looked at the content of the information seriously and flipped through it a few times. This is a bit like a burial at sea, Alan suddenly said. Burial at sea? The burial at sea here is to scatter the ashes into the sea, not to sink the person directly into the sea, said Gu Lingqing. Don't you think it's strange? Alan looked at the picture. Under normal circumstances, this cage is sealed and there's no lock. But, how did the person get in? Asked Alan. An idea flashed in Gu Lingqing's mind. He looked at the 6 iron cages seriously. It was true. There were no locks. The 4 sides were sealed. There are 3 people in each cage. If these people were put in dead and then sealed, there's no struggle. If they were put in alive, it means that it's an absolute suppression. There are many murderers, said Gu Lingqing.
Alan shrugged. You're a general and a leader.
Why are you involved in these small cases? Your country is in turmoil now. The president is your brother, right? I heard that he's going to marry a woman from the Xiong family of M country at the end of this year. This is not something you should care about. Gu Lingqing didn't want to talk to him anymore. Alan held his head and looked at Gu Lingqing. If it wasn't for Bai Ye, I wouldn't care about the affairs of your country. Why did you leave so suddenly? Why did you become a small police officer? Gu Lingqing closed the file and glanced at Alan. I told you, this is not something you should care about. You're cool and cold, but women don't like you, judged Alan. Gu Lingqing stood up and walked towards the door. He smoked a cigarette and was very annoyed. A middle-aged woman walked towards him with a pot in her hand. Hello, are you Bai Ye's boyfriend? Asked the middle-aged woman.
Yes.
I'm a colleague, explained Gu Lingqing.
Oh.
This is Bai Ye's pot. She cooks really well. Whoever marries her will be convinced. Please pass it to her for me and thank her for me, said the middle-aged woman. Gu Lingqing took the pot from the middle-aged woman. He turned around and went to the kitchen. Bai Ye was still busy, but she was cooking in an orderly manner, exactly as he remembered. She would taste the taste first before serving it to prevent it from being too salty or bland. She was a very serious and responsible person. Bai Ye noticed that Gu Lingqing was standing behind her. She turned around and looked at him. What's wrong? Gu Lingqing looked at the pot in his hand uncomfortably and passed it to Bai Ye. An auntie sent this back for you. She asked me to tell you that your cooking is really good.
Thank you.
Ha, Bai Ye smiled happily. Luckily I'm at home now, or else she would have made a wasted trip. Wait for me for another 20 minutes. I'll cook the fish very quickly and you'll be able to eat soon. I'll bring the dishes out first. It's summer anyway, and we can't be cold, said Gu Lingqing. Yes, thank you. Black, the dishes on the chopping board can be brought out now, said Bai Ye as she continued with her work. Gu Lingqing carried the dishes out. Alan saw this and immediately went to the kitchen to help. Bai Ye's phone rang. She saw that it was Jones. She had a bad feeling and picked up the phone. Chapter 763.
Yeah.
Bai Ye was quite calm. You found them quickly. The Marine Survey team happened to be nearby. Now that we can recognize the faces, we should be able to find out who died. I'm very confident about this case. It shouldn't be too difficult, Jones said happily. Bai Ye smiled.
We'll see.
Cheong's heart sank.
You don't think so?
Have you ever wondered why no one reported this to the police? Bai Ye asked. Cheong was stunned.
Why?
Let's confirm the victims' identities first. I'm going to eat now. Good luck. Bai Ye hung up. She prepared the fish fillets, boiled the oil, stir-fried the pickled cabbage, put in the bones, stir-fried them, and added water. When the water boiled, she put in the fish fillets. In just 5 minutes, a bowl of fish with pickled cabbage and pickled cabbage was ready to be served. She turned off the fire. Gu Lingqing came in and said in a low voice, "Be careful, it's hot. Let me do it. You go outside and wait for your meal." Bai Ye was a little dazed. This scene seemed to have happened before. In her memory, there was a man who said this to her. The man holding the hot food while she held the bowl and chopsticks. It was a warm and comfortable scene. But she felt a little uncomfortable in her heart. She couldn't think about it anymore. It wasn't a good sign. Then, I'll have to trouble you. She didn't stand on ceremony. She took 3 bowls and 3 pairs of chopsticks. Alan smiled. Luckily, I learned how to use chopsticks. Otherwise, I'd have to use my hands. Tell me what you like to eat tomorrow. I'll go to the market and buy it for you, Bai Ye said. Let's go together tomorrow. When you go to work, I'll see if there are any investment projects and find something to do. Good idea. I'll bring the food out. Bai Ye said. She went to the kitchen and scooped a big bowl of rice. She could eat as much as she wanted. Alan took a bite of the pork chop. I've eaten so many pork chops, but yours is the best. Bai Ye smiled. If everything goes well today, you'll be able to eat the fish I fry. It's even better.
Gu Lingqing glanced at Alan. He didn't say anything and sat opposite Alan.
Did you receive the candy I sent you last time? Alan asked Bai Ye, looking like he was talking about everything. Yes, I got it. It's a very special taste. It's salty and light, which suits my taste very well. People nowadays eat too much sweet stuff, which is not good for their health. When you're hungry, or when your mouth has no taste, it's good to eat some salty candy. I came to the US to start a food business or open a coffee shop. As long as I have something to do, I will do it. My other businesses are already on the right track, and there are professionals to help me manage them. Alan thought. Alan. Besides, I have. Yeah. Alan. Bye. Yeah. Besides, I have. Besides, Ilon. Did you make any money? Alan asked curiously. It's all right. I've been running it for 3 months. So far, I haven't suffered any losses, but I haven't made much money either. However, there are quite a lot of returning customers. Maybe after a year, when there are more returning customers, I can make some money and spend it elsewhere, said Bai Ye jokingly. Then I'll just open a coffee shop and give you a lifetime supply. Bai Ye nodded. Sounds good. Gu Lingqing kept his head down as he ate. He listened to their conversation without saying a word. Bai Ye noticed that she had neglected another guest. She smiled and asked, Black, you've been transferred over to the investigation team. Are you still working at the research center? I'm in charge of the research center. You just have to do your job well. You don't have to go there every day. The investigation team has free time too, Black said. When I went to the research center last time, I saw the chairman's office there. The dean specifically told me not to go there. Have you seen the chairman before? Bai Ye asked. Yeah, replied Gu Lingqing. He didn't say anything else. He was an introverted and reserved man with a lot of things on his mind. Bai Ye smiled. Do you have a good relationship with the chairman? Yeah. Gu Lingqing replied again. He didn't dare to look at Bai Ye. He was afraid that Bai Ye would notice something. He lowered his eyes and looked calm. Bai Ye didn't ask any more. She once said that there was a type of person that was hard to see through and hard to figure out. You might think that you could see him clearly, but in the blink of an eye, he didn't seem to be what you thought he was. He was too deep and unfathomable. She might as well not try to figure him out. She also wouldn't get too close to this type of person because she couldn't see him clearly. It was too dangerous. She ate. No one spoke. The atmosphere suddenly became heavy. How was the song I asked you to listen to last time? Alan broke the silence and asked. Yeah, I think it's quite high-end. High-end? Yeah, it feels like I'm listening to a symphony in a royal palace. I like to listen to that kind of elegant, ethereal, but also very calming sound of nature, Bai Ye expressed correctly. Then I'll make it up again next time. You can listen to it again, said Alan humbly. Yeah, don't forget to apply for a patent. It'll be specially placed in your cafe in the future. Sounds like a good choice. Mr. Gu, do you like music? Asked Alan. Mr. Gu? Bai Ye looked at Gu Lingqing in surprise. Gu Lingqing looked at her confused eyes. His eyes became even more unfathomable. There were too many hidden thoughts that gathered into an unknown universe. She had really forgotten about him. My surname is Gu, but you can just call me Black, Gu Lingqing said dejectedly. If you like to sing, the sound system here is not bad. You're welcome to sing together, said Bai Ye with a smile. I can see that the decoration here is superb. If there's a chance, invite Black to come and sing together, said Alan while looking at Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing didn't say anything. He lowered his head and ate his food. Soon, he finished one bowl and filled another bowl. Bai Ye glanced at him. Black didn't like to talk. Silence was golden. Black, you used to be a soldier, right? Bai Ye asked casually. Yeah, answered Gu Lingqing. You seem to be from the Special Forces, but you don't have the feeling of the American Special Forces. Are you from country A? Bai Ye guessed. Gu Lingqing didn't answer. Bai Ye felt that she was asking for a snub, so she didn't ask Black anymore. They were just colleagues in the future anyway. If they couldn't get along well, they could just leave. After a while, they finished their meal. You guys rest for a while.
We'll leave after we tidy up, said Baya. Let me do the dishes, Black volunteered. She didn't expect Black, who was like a tough guy, to do the dishes. She felt an inexplicable warmth in her heart. You can't judge a book by its cover, and you can't measure the sea with a pail. A man of steel can also be very gentle.
Chapter 764.
Sorry to trouble you.
Baya did not refuse.
Do I have to throw away the unfinished food?
Gu Lingqing asked. No need. I'll pack it up now.
Some people will need it, Baya said and started packing.
Gu Lingqing washed the dishes.
She saw that his actions were quite skilled. She did not deliberately say anything and smiled.
I'm going out for a while. I'll accompany you,
Alan said and took the lunchbox from Baya's hands. Looks like you often give food to people who need it. You even have a lunchbox and disposable chopsticks ready. What I don't need is what others urgently need.
That's the simplest thing I can do. It's just a small effort.
Don't not do good because it's small. Don't do evil because it's small. Giving makes people feel calm and comfortable, Baya explained.
Alan looked at Baya.
Her tone was elegant, intellectual, natural and unrestrained. It was as gentle as water and understanding. He was not willing to compromise. He would rather have nothing than have something substandard. Once he met Baya, it would ruin his life. If they could not love each other for a long time, he thought that he would never like anyone else in this life. When Baya arrived at the park, a group of homeless people naturally swarmed over.
They all knew Baya.
Baya distributed the food to them.
Do you come here often?
Alan asked.
No, occasionally, twice a week,
Baya explained. I can invest in the security center to solve the problem of these homeless people, Alan suggested.
Baya smiled. I bought a 2-story house near the clinic.
I've modified it. There are only benches, a pool, and air conditioning. It can accommodate 1,000 people who don't want to go home or are homeless every day.
Alan looked at Baya in surprise.
I hired a cleaner to clean every day. I don't care about anything else, Baya said.
Baya said.
I think it's pretty good this way. When you think about it, you give something. You don't have to treat giving as a responsibility. You can live casually, freely, Baya said.
Don't they know it's your house?
Alan said. I don't need them to know. I just need them to know that there's a place where they won't die of heat in summer, won't freeze to death in winter, and can walk around the park without starving to death.
That's enough.
Baya distributed the food and returned. Alan held her hand. I'll do these things with you in the future. Baya patted his hand as if they were old friends. Welcome. In a few days, my senior will also come to America. I feel like my life is complete. Alan nodded. Let's move forward hand in hand.
Let's go.
Baya nodded and headed back home. When they were almost at the house, Alan remembered Gu Lingqing who was working in the kitchen. He asked tentatively, how do you feel about that Black?
I don't feel anything.
He's not an easy person to get along with. Silence is golden, and he's hard to read. There are too many mysteries about him, but I don't want to know. I asked him to stay for dinner today because he's my colleague. He specially brought something over. From now on, we'll only be colleagues, Baya said calmly. Alan was relieved. He smiled cheerfully. We'll go fishing later. Remember to apply sunscreen and moisturizer. The sun at sea is especially strong. If you're not careful, you'll get sunburned.
Got it.
Baya went back. Gu Lingqing had already finished washing the dishes. She was sitting on the sofa looking at her phone. When she saw them return, her gaze fell on their tightly clasped hands. A sharp glint flashed across her eyes as she glanced at Alan. Alan smiled. Let's go now. Black, did you drive here? You can all take my car.
Let's go.
Gu Lingqing walked outside. She bumped into Alan's shoulder on purpose. Alan did not stand still. He took a step back.
Are you okay?
Baya asked with concern. Alan shook his head. Your colleague is very strong. Baya frowned and glanced at Black. Gu Lingqing had already gone out. His temper doesn't seem too good. I suddenly regret taking his cruise.
Baya shrugged. Then I'll buy a cruise tomorrow. We won't need to ask for help when we go out in the future, Alan said with a smile. I'll get a fishing rod, Baya said as she went upstairs. After a while, she came down with a big bag and a big box. You have such a complete set of fishing tools? Alan was surprised. Of course. To do a good job, a worker must first sharpen his tools. If the tools are not good, how can we catch a big fish? I'll buy one next time. Alan took the water tank from Baya's hand. They went out. Gu Lingqing had already parked the car outside. Alan opened the trunk and put the things inside. Gu Lingqing said to Baya, "Sit in the front." Baya wanted to sit in the back. After all, Alan was her friend and Black was her colleague. However, Black had asked her to sit. It was not good for her to reject. She believed that Alan would not mind, so she sat in the front passenger seat. Gu Lingqing's expression turned a little better. She said to Baya, "Do you want to take a look at the case files?" "Okay." Baya responded and flipped through the documents that Black had placed on the shelf. Cheong said that the body that was just found is new. I think we should know the identity of the deceased tomorrow. What do you think is the reason why the deceased's family didn't report the case? Baya asked. There are too many possibilities. These people might not be from here, so they reported it. However, because it was not the same place, the cases could not be concentrated. It could also be that the whole family died, so no one reported it. There was a case in the past where more than 100 people in the village were all killed, so no one reported it, Gu Lingqing said. Are you talking about the Tangqian village case? Baya blurted out. Gu Lingqing looked at her. His eyes darkened. You've heard of this case too? Yes, I've been to Tangqian village. They mainly dug up a treasure there. Then, someone massacred the entire village in order to get the treasure, Baya said calmly. Do you know who massacred the village? Gu Lingqing continued to ask. Many scenes flashed through Baya's mind. Some of her memories were there, but some seemed to be blank. She did not want to think about it anymore. I don't know. The light in Gu Lingqing's eyes dimmed again. Alan opened the car door. He glanced at Gu Lingqing and sat in the back seat. Gu Lingqing drove. No one spoke along the way. Baya was a little tired from reading the files. She leaned against the seat and closed her eyes to sleep. Gu Lingqing saw that she had fallen asleep, so he adjusted the position of the air vent so that it would not blow at her. Alan frowned slightly and looked out of the window. Time ticked by. Seattle was a coastal city. After driving for a few minutes, they arrived at the pier. Gu Lingqing stopped the car. Baya opened her eyes and got out of the car. Chapter 765. Little White. Baya blurted out. There was a dog like that in her memory too. It was also on the boat and had a good relationship with her. She was a little confused as to whether its name was Little White. Gu Lingqing looked at her deeply. Baya smiled awkwardly and explained, What I mean is, its whole body is white, it's very strong, and it's very cute. Its name is Little White, Gu Lingqing said. On the boat. He stroked the dog's head. As he stroked the dog's head, his expression became much gentler, and his gaze became much less sharp. Baya's gaze also softened. She had thought about raising a dog in the past, but sometimes she had to go on a business trip, so she was worried that the dog would starve. Now that Alan was coming over, he had asthma, so it wasn't good for him to raise a dog. It usually stays on the boat? Baya asked. Yes, it likes to stay on the bed. This is its world, Gu Lingqing said gently as he stroked Little White's head. Baya squatted down too. Little White immediately rushed in front of her, wagging its tail happily. Baya liked this dog from the bottom of her heart. She stroked the dog's head, and the dog lay on the ground. Baya's heart softened even more. Why was this dog so cute? She liked it so much. Little White, Baya called. It immediately stood up and stuck out its tongue with a smile on its face. Do you have dog food? I want to feed it, Baya said gently. Yes. Gu Lingqing took a bowl over. Little White saw that Gu Lingqing had a dog bowl, so it ran towards Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing passed the dog bowl to Baya. Baya took the dog bowl and put it on the ground. The dog immediately came to eat. Do you have water? You have to feed the dog more water in the summer, Baya said. Gu Lingqing went back to get Little White's special water bottle and passed it to Baya. Baya fed Little White water, but Little White refused to eat it and continued to eat dog food. How long has it been since you last fed it? It looks very hungry, Baya complained. I fed it once in the morning and again in the evening, Gu Lingqing explained. Baya looked at him in surprise. Do you usually stay on the ship? Gu Lingqing answered. What if you go on a business trip? What will happen to little Bai? Baya was worried. I know all the fishermen here. They will help me take care of Little White. Little White knows them too and they get along well, Gu Lingqing explained. Baya patted the dog's head. Xiao Bai is the best. Alan watched their interaction. He knew this ship. It belonged to Baya. He didn't expect that Gu Lingqing had been living on this ship. When are we leaving? Alan asked. Wait for a while. I asked someone to buy some things. We will arrive in about 3 minutes, Gu Lingqing said. All right, Alan replied in a good mood. He went to the roof. As expected, it was exactly the same as what Baya did in the past. Nothing changed. He felt a little uncomfortable. He slept on the deck chair, enjoying the sea breeze. After a while, Gu Lingqing's people came and bought a lot of things. Fishing bait, vegetables, meat, fruits, coffee, and the like. After Gu Lingqing's people came, Gu Lingqing went to the control room and drove the ship out. After confirming the latitude and longitude, he let the ship sail on its own. He cut half a watermelon, cut it into small pieces and placed them on a plate. Then, he added plums, pears, and oranges. He made 2 large plates and brought them out. He looked for Baya. She was still playing with Little White. The corners of his mouth curled up slightly. His resolute expression softened a lot. Come to the roof. It's time to eat some fruit, Gu Lingqing shouted and carried the fruit to the roof. Alan was enjoying the wind. Gu Lingqing put the fruit plate in front of him. Thank you, Alan said. Gu Lingqing put the other plate on the bar next to him and sat down on the sofa. He looked at the sea in the distance and didn't say anything. Alan chuckled. Gu Lingqing looked at Alan. I think we're the friendliest rivals in love, right? Alan said with a smile. She treats you as a friend. So, even if you're my rival in love, there's no need to be unfriendly to you. You're always by her side to help her when she's in the most difficult situation. I know that. Thank you, Gu Lingqing said calmly. Alan shrugged. Gu Lingqing was flattering him too much. He didn't know what to say. Are you really going to stay in America? If she doesn't choose you, you'll be very sad, right? Gu Lingqing said again. You came all the way to find her. If she doesn't choose you, will you feel sad? Alan asked. No matter where she is, I'll be by her side. I won't force her to make a choice. Gu Lingqing looked into the distance and said. Me too. Whether she chooses me or not, I'll stay by her side. I have 2 children with her. The children need her, Gu Lingqing said lightly. But she chose to let it go. She's a very strong person. She was fearless even when facing terrorists. A girl like that chose to forget. I think the damage you brought to her is enough to make her forget me completely. My advantage is actually greater than yours, Alan said with a smile. Gu Lingqing pursed his lips and didn't say anything. His eyes dimmed and turned into a black hole. It carried too much and people couldn't see it clearly. Baya came up with a smile and said to Gu Lingqing, I like your little dog very much. It's very obedient. When you call it, it will come immediately and it can even do somersaults. It's very cute. If you shoot at it, it will fall down. But what it's best at is buying things. Sometimes, I dress it and hang a bag around its neck. I put money in the bag and let it buy things. It can buy things for you? Baya felt that it was magical. Yes, there's a vegetable market nearby. Many farmers buy vegetables there and they all know it, Gu Lingqing explained. Baya smiled. If she couldn't find the person she wanted to spend the rest of her life with when she was old, she would raise a dog to accompany her until she was old. She wouldn't be lonely then. Dogs were man's best friends and were very loyal to their owners. She lay down on the chair and enjoyed the sea breeze. When the sea breeze blew past her cheeks, it felt very comfortable and relaxing. I used to live on a deserted island, Baya suddenly said. Gu Lingqing was slightly stunned. He looked at her and waited for her to continue. Baya closed her eyes and smiled slightly. I remember there were a lot of crabs on the island. But the crabs are very fast. Many of them will drill into the sand and some will run into the sea. With a fishing net, you can catch a lot of crabs every day. What about winter? The sea is too cold. Do you still go into the sea? Alan asked. Chapter 766. Haha. Alan laughed. Do you still remember when we first met? We went to a deserted island. You really like the life on a deserted island. Some people work hard for their entire lives just so that they can enjoy a leisurely life in the last few years. Some people enjoy a leisurely life for their entire lives. Although they don't have much money, they can still smile at the clouds and feel at ease. This feeling is not bad. What's important is the state of mind. I have a few friends who often go to the wild to survive. It's quite interesting. Next time, I'll bring you along? Gu Lingqing said. Baya opened her eyes and nodded thoughtfully. Sounds good. You can call me next time. I'll check if I'm free. Gu Lingqing smiled. All right. Baya looked at his cold face and actually smiled. His smile looked quite good according to her taste. It's good to smile more, Baya said. Gu Lingqing stopped smiling and averted his eyes with a strange expression on his face. Baya didn't mind. She leaned on the railing and looked at the sea. Where are we going to fish? Alan asked. We'll sail for an hour. We'll go to a deeper part of the sea. It's too close to the shore and it'll be hard to catch fish. The fish in the deep sea are clean too. We can eat them without processing them. They're especially delicious, Baya said. Okay, Alan replied. The boat sailed for more than an hour before stopping. It floated freely on the sea. Baya went fishing professionally. Alan watched Baya do it and followed her instructions. Gu Lingqing didn't do it like them. He scattered some feed in the net and scattered it. Can you catch fish like that? Alan asked curiously. Sometimes I can't catch them, but if I keep it up, I'll catch them eventually, Gu Lingqing said. Alan nodded and didn't say anything else. Fishing was a technical job. It also required a lot of patience. He stared at the fish mark on the surface of the sea. If the wind was too strong, it would affect his judgment. As time ticked by, Alan didn't catch any fish even after several attempts. Gu Lingqing unhurriedly went to his room to rest. Half an hour later, Baya caught a small fish that was only a few centimeters long. Little White ran over to take a look and then ran away in disgust. Baya continued fishing. I think we might be fishing for the whole afternoon and not even get dinner, Alan said with a smile. Fishing on the sea is like that. But if you catch something, you can have a delicious meal. Fishing is the mood of fishing. The process of fishing is also pleasant, peaceful and cheerful. That's good, said Baya, who wasn't discouraged. Sounds very knowledgeable. Baya suddenly stood up and said happily, I got it. The fish took the bait. Alan also stood up and looked at the sea. He did not see anything. What fish did you catch? Baya hurriedly shook the joystick. Alan saw that he had caught a fish. The fish was quite big. It was about 20 centimeters long. Baya caught the fish. What fish is this? Asked Alan, puzzled. It seems to be codfish. This kind of fish dies easily. It dies as soon as it goes out to sea. Let me deal with it first. We can eat the most delicious fish immediately, said Baya happily. Yeah, I want to eat it now, said Alan. Baya took the fish to the kitchen. She washed it quickly and cut it into pieces. She did not want the fish head. She directly put the fish into the pan and grilled it. She did not control the temperature of the oil well, so the oil flowed out and fell on the back of her hand. She snorted and retracted her hand. When she was about to wipe off the oil, Gu Lingqing walked over and held her hand lovingly. How do you take care of yourself? Ha! Baya looked at Gu Lingqing. He went forward and turned the fire to a small flame. He used a napkin to wipe the oil on her hand and turned on the tap. He held her hand and rinsed it. His expression was cold and focused. Baya looked at his resolute side profile. There was a strange feeling in her heart. She explained, "This bit of oil is okay. People who cook often get splashed with oil. It will be fine after a while." Gu Lingqing frowned. "Go fishing. Leave the rest to me. Do you know how to do the rest?" Baya was curious. "Yes." Gu Lingqing said a simple word and began to fry the codfish. She really felt that he was like a man of mystery. He seemed not perfect, but after interacting with him, she realized that he was quite perfect. "This fish is very tender. You don't need to fry it for too long. You don't need to add any seasoning either. It's delicious as it is. If you think it has a strong fishy smell, you can add some pepper or drizzle some lemon juice," suggested Baya. "Yeah." Gu Lingqing replied. "Do you want to wrap it with breadcrumbs? Do you have breadcrumbs?" Baya was curious. "I got someone to buy it for me just now. There are more codfish in this area. It's easy to catch them. This fish has very tender meat and is very suitable for making fish steak. So, I got someone to buy it." Gu Lingqing explained. She realized that he was a meticulous and considerate person. "Can I use some?" Baya asked. "There's cheese and butter in the fridge. If you fry it with butter, the oil won't spill. You can just use butter in the future." Gu Lingqing continued. "Okay." Baya replied. She made the wrapping first. In order to get rid of the fishy smell, she mixed some egg powder and added some spices. The fish was rolled in the egg powder and wrapped with breadcrumbs. Then, it could be put into the pan to continue frying. After a while, the fish was done frying. Gu Lingqing put it on a plate and said to Baya, "Don't be in a hurry to eat it. It's very hot now. Let it cool down for a while before you eat it. It won't affect the taste. It's okay if you don't catch any more fish. I've asked someone to buy steak and spaghetti. You can eat that." "Do you think I can't catch any fish?" Baya said with a smile. She was an expert at fishing. "I'm just in case. If the sea is very stormy, I can't catch any fish. I'll continue frying. You can come over in 5 minutes. Bring Alan with you," Gu Lingqing said. "Okay. Thank you," Baya said sincerely. She smiled brightly and turned to look for Alan. Gu Lingqing's eyes dimmed. His heart was heavy. There was an indescribable bitterness in his heart. He continued to fry the fish. Outside, there was a strange sound of a horn. It sounded very strange. He turned off the fire and walked to the back of the boat. There was a cruise ship behind them that was slightly bigger than theirs. There were many people in white clothes on it. There were many people, and they all stood together in an orderly manner. Suddenly, a person in white jumped off the ship. Gu Lingqing saw that the people on the ship were looking at the sea indifferently. Seeing that the person was about to sink, he didn't have time to think. He threw the life buoy on the ship into the sea. Chapter 767. Baya heard the sound of the water entering the water. She quickly went to the stern and saw Black swimming toward the drowning man. A few scenes flashed in her memory. She seemed to have fallen into the sea as well, and there was also a person swimming toward her. Her soul seemed to be shaken, and she felt dizzy for a few seconds. "Xiaoya!" Alan shouted. Baya came back to her senses and looked at the sea. Black could no longer see. Panic flashed in her eyes. "Where is he?" He went to the bottom of the sea. "See if there's a lifeboat on the bed and put it down," Alan said. "There should be one on the side of the ship." Baya ran to the side and saw a small lifeboat. She immediately lowered the lifeboat. In the sea, people's ability to discern sound was very low, but their ability to discern light was higher. Baya immediately turned on the flashlight on her phone and shone it into the sea. Black did not come up. Baya panicked and shouted at the sponge, Black, no, I'm going down to see what's going on." "Xiaoya." Alan wanted to stop Baya, but before he could, Baya jumped into the sea. In the sea, her eyes were so piercing that she could not open them at all. She could not see what was in the sea. She emerged from the sponge, took a deep breath, and sank down again. She endured the piercing pain and opened her eyes wide. She could only hear the gurgling sound of the water, but she could not see anyone. Suddenly, her feet were entangled by something. Baya turned around in surprise. It was a person in white. She was shocked and wanted to kick the person away. But he pulled her down. Suddenly, someone pulled her hand. She was relieved when she saw that it was black. Gu Lingqing pulled the white man's hand away and kicked him away. He pulled Baya upstream. The qi in her body was decreasing, and bubbles came out of her nostrils. From the corner of her eyes, she saw a few people in white rushing toward her. Gu Lingqing turned her face and kissed her lips. He transferred some of his qi to her and pushed hard. Baya dashed towards the surface of the sea. She turned back to look at Gu Lingqing, who had stayed behind to block those men in white. However, there were too many people in white. It was as if they had come from hell and wanted to drag them there. She came out of the sea, took a deep breath, picked up the oars on the lifeboat, and went back into the water. Black was surrounded by the people in white. She threw the oar over, and those people subconsciously stepped aside. Gu Lingqing took the opportunity to rush up to the surface of the sea. Worried that she would be a burden, she immediately climbed onto the lifeboat and shouted to Alan, "Pass me the kitchen knife." Ha! Alan was puzzled. He didn't know what was going on under the river. "Hurry up," urged Baya. 2. Alan hurriedly went to the kitchen to get a kitchen knife and passed it to Baya. Gu Lingqing came out from the bottom of the sea and took a deep breath. The people in white followed closely. There were 12 of them in total. They surrounded Gu Lingqing. "Who are you? What do you want?" Baya said sternly. "You're too nosy. It's your bad luck to run into us," one of the people in white said fiercely. "Kill them all." "Alan, there's a gun under my pillow. Go get it now," Gu Lingqing said sternly. "Okay." Alan realized the severity of the situation and quickly went to get the gun. Those people exchanged glances and rushed towards Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing swam towards the bottom of the sea vigilantly. Those people followed her. Baya was worried that Gu Lingqing couldn't handle so many people alone. Without thinking, she jumped off the boat. Gu Lingqing saw Baya coming over from the corner of her eyes. She was afraid that she wasn't breathing, so she didn't dare to swim deeper. Those people rushed forward, trying to restrain Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing dodged. He was worried about Baya, but he couldn't swim towards Baya, so he was distracted. Someone grabbed his arm, and a group of people rushed forward, entangling him and making him sink. Baya rushed over and slashed at the person's arm without hesitation. These people were all mad demons. It was either you die or I die. She didn't need to show any mercy. That person's hand was bleeding. When he saw Baya, his eyes widened. He let go of Gu Lingqing and rushed towards Baya. Panic flashed through Gu Lingqing's eyes. He was not afraid of dying, but he was afraid of her dying. He used brute force and broke free. He grabbed the foot of the person who was chasing Baya. Baya couldn't hold it anymore. She rushed out of the sponge and took a deep breath. "Xiaoya!" Alan threw 2 empty words at Baya. Baya grabbed it and saw people coming out of the water to breathe. They saw Baya and swam towards Baya. Alan fired immediately. Bang! The sound of a gunshot shocked the man in white. Baya quickly returned to the sea. When he saw Gu Lingqing, who was still entangled, he swam towards him. Gu Lingqing's breath was almost exhausted. He swam towards the surface with all his strength. Baya swam to his side and handed the Sprite bottle and the knife to Gu Lingqing. The others found Baya and wanted to catch Baya. Baya waved the knife, and those people couldn't get close to her. Gu Lingqing used the knife to cut off the people who entangled him. He split the bottle cap and quickly blocked the hole. He took a deep breath and threw the Sprite bottle away. He grabbed Baya's hand and swam towards the sponge. The person in white chased after them relentlessly. Gu Lingqing and Baya swam to the surface and took deep breaths. The person in white also came out. Alan fired and said to Baya and Gu Lingqing, "Get on the boat." Gu Lingqing let Baya go first. There were tires hanging on the side of the boat. He could pull the tires and climb up. When he came up again, he went towards the control room without hesitation. Little White was frightened and kept screaming towards the sea. Gu Lingqing turned on the acceleration system and went back to the shore. He called the police station. Baya saw the person in white also climbed onto the boat. She took many pictures with her phone. After the person in white climbed onto the boat, He still chased after them. However, Gu Lingqing's boat was much faster. Baiya was relieved. She went to the control room and asked, "Do you know who they are?" "I don't know, but judging from their behavior, they should be from a cult. Their ages range from 10 to 30. They're not friendly to people and they want to kill. I've already called Cheong and asked him to send the nearby police to hide by the beach. I'll try to slow down so that they can catch up," Gu Lingqing said sharply. Baiya looked behind the boat. Those people were indeed still following them. "Can you surf the internet on the boat?" "No, you can use my cell phone. You can use the global unlimited data." Gu Lingqing handed his cell phone to her. "No need." Baiya didn't take her phone. She guessed that AI Wei was sleeping. She didn't call him. Instead, she texted AI Wei. "AI Wei, I'll send you some pictures later. When you wake up, find out the most detailed information and send it to my email." Chapter 768. Baiya bumped into his arms and was startled. She could smell the scent of the sea on his body. Her heart was beating fast for no reason. He was clearly not her type. Why was she so flustered? "You're injured," Gu Lingqing said, feeling sorry for her. "Oh, I'm fine. Maybe I accidentally cut myself when I was flying around with the knife," Baiya explained. "There are parasites and bacteria in the sea. We have to deal with them. It's not good to talk. Come with me." Gu Lingqing pulled Baiya to the kitchen. He wanted her to rinse with clean water. He brought the first aid kit over, dipped a cotton ball in the disinfectant, and cleaned her wound. Alan walked over and asked worriedly, "Are you hurt?" "It's just a small injury." "I'm fine," Baiya said and looked at Gu Lingqing. He applied medicine on her wound and wrapped it with gauze 3 times. "It's best not to touch water. It'll be fine after the scar forms." Baiya could feel the deep concern in his eyes. It didn't seem fake. She was a little confused and didn't say anything. "Xiaoya, let me take a look." Alan held Baiya's hand. Gu Lingqing's expression changed. She lowered her head and packed her things. She put them on the fridge and looked at Alan unhappily. "You're not a doctor. What's the use of looking at it?" Alan was speechless. "Black, they don't seem to be following us," Baiya said, looking at the ship behind. Gu Lingqing also looked at the ship behind. They were obviously heading west. Gu Lingqing immediately made a call. "Cheong, it's Black. Those people in white aren't coming after us anymore. However, one of them did jump into the sea. He didn't come back up." "Okay, that's fine." Gu Lingqing hung up. Baiya asked, "What did he say?" "He asked us to follow them. He asked for backup. Those people in white should be involved in other cases," Gu Lingqing said. "I'm going to the control room now." "Don't get too close. They're vicious," Alan reminded. "You'd better go to the lounge and close the curtains in case they have guns," Gu Lingqing reminded. He went to the control room and stopped the autopilot. He sent the location to Cheong and followed the ship manually. Baiya and Alan went to the lounge and closed the curtains. She called Shen. "Tell me, what's going on with those people in white and what's their background?" "This organization only appeared this year, but ever since it appeared, fishermen have been picking up the corpses of these people in white almost every month. I don't know what they do, but it's a very bad influence. I just went to the database and counted. This year, 6 people in white have died," Shen replied. "Didn't you contact their families to find out what happened?" Baiya asked. "Yes, but the answer I got was that the parents of the deceased didn't know what happened. All the deceased drowned. There was no struggle, no fighting, and no suicide note. It was more like natural drowning, so the case was left uninvestigated." "They're all wearing white. Isn't that abnormal?" "Forget it. I don't want to talk about it anymore. I have a rough idea of the situation. Let's talk about it after we catch them," Baiya said and hung up the phone. She found that the boat seemed to be turning around and was puzzled. She called Gu Lingqing. "Black, what's wrong? Are they coming after us again?" "No, there's another big ship coming. It doesn't look like it's official. Maybe it's their support. Besides, there should be weapons on the ship. We have to go now," Gu Lingqing said vigilantly. "Okay." There are life vests under the sofa. You and Alan put them on, Gu Lingqing said seriously. What about you? Baya asked worriedly. There are in the cockpit. Remember, don't come out unless it's absolutely necessary. If you hear gunshots, lie on the ground. The sofa is made of titanium alloy. It's bulletproof, Gu Lingqing said. Baya realized the seriousness of the matter. She lifted the curtain a little and looked outside. There was really a big ship chasing them. Suddenly, Gu Lingqing turned the steering wheel, and Baya fell to the ground. With a bang, the cannon landed beside the ship, causing a huge splash. The ship shook violently. With another bang, it landed in front of the ship. The ship seemed to be turning over. Xiaoya, are you okay? Alan fell beside Baya. I'm fine, Alan. Are you okay? Remember to take deep breaths and keep your breathing balanced. Don't be nervous, Baya comforted Alan. If he had asthma, it would be more serious. I'm fine. Alan held Baya's hand and took a deep breath. Baya found that his hands were sticky and sweaty. She said, We are half an hour away from the shore. Cheong has already contacted someone. Even if the ship capsizes, we will be fine with life vests. It will take some time before they come down to catch us. We have a high chance of being rescued. Alan smiled. Normally, he would be anxious when something like this happened. He was worried that he would never see her again, which made him even more anxious. Once he was anxious, coupled with the bad environment, his asthma would act up. But now that she was here, he was still calm. At least, he didn't want her to worry. I suddenly thought of a saying. Life and death are bound together. Alan said, If we can go back safely this time, Xiaoya, let me take care of you for the rest of your life, okay? Baya smiled. Will you take care of me for the rest of my life, or will I take care of you for the rest of my life? You will take care of me for the rest of my life, Alan said with a smile, looking at her with a burning gaze. Alan, even as a friend, I will take care of you for the rest of your life. As long as you need me, I will be by your side, Baya said with certainty. What if I want to be more than a friend? Alan asked with a smile. I want to be single for a few more years. If you are waiting for me, don't wait for me, Baya said seriously. Alan's eyes were filled with disappointment. Just pretend I didn't say anything. Okay. Baya held Alan's hand. It felt like she was holding her own hand. It didn't feel much. However, when Black held her hand just now, she felt a little flustered. Was it because she liked Black? Bang! Another thud landed behind the ship, pulling Baya back from her thoughts. She had a feeling that their ship seemed to have slowed down. Another bang came from outside, but it wasn't around their ship. It sounded like it was far away. She got up and opened the curtains a little. She saw two big ships coming towards them. There was an American flag on the ships. They should be official ships. Baya called Black. He didn't pick up. She had a bad feeling. Could something have happened to Black? She didn't have time to think and ran outside. Chapter 769. The windows in the control room were all broken. Many of the glass shards pierced into Gu Lingqing's body. He was covered in blood and so was the floor. He must have been injured when the first shell hit him. He had been holding on. In the end, he had switched the system to auto-homing mode before he fainted. Baya felt a pain in his heart. Although this man was not good with words, did not like to talk, and was cold to others, he was quite responsible. Little White was in the control room too. Its master was injured and it was whimpering. Baya didn't hesitate. He ran to the back and picked up the first aid kit on the fridge. Xiaoya, what's wrong with Black? Alan asked worriedly. He's severely injured. I'm going to treat him now. Come and help me, Baya said and ran to the control room. 3 hours later. Gu Lingqing woke up. The scene on the sea flashed across his mind. He sat up in a panic. Baya! Baya heaved a sigh of relief when he saw that he had woken up. The doctor did a full body checkup. Fortunately, your head wasn't injured. It's just that you have too many wounds all over your body and you've lost too much blood. You need to nourish yourself. Are you injured? Gu Lingqing asked worriedly. Baya shook his head. When you were on your way back, Our warship came over and captured all of them. Cheong is interrogating them now. He heaved a sigh of relief when he saw the warship. It's good that you're not injured. Baya slightly raised a smile. This man had fainted due to excessive blood loss. The first person he cared about was someone else. Don't stay on the ship for now. It's too far and it's inconvenient for you to go to work. Also, we don't know if the White Sect has any accomplices. If you sleep on the ship, they might take revenge on you. You should stay at my place first. It's convenient for you to go to work and also for you to recuperate. My friend has asthma and Little White's fur and smell aren't good for him. So, I'll build a kennel in the garden and Little White can sleep there. Is that okay? Baya explained in detail. Gu Lingqing looked at Baya. His gaze softened and he asked in a strange tone, "Do you often invite people to stay at your place?" Baya also felt that it was a little abrupt to invite him, but after all, they were friends in adversity this time and could be trusted. He protected them, and she also wanted to do something within her power. She did not want to owe others a favor. Not often, but occasionally. If it's inconvenient for you, you can choose a hotel. And I'll pay for it, Baya said generously. I like your place. It's quiet, Gu Lingqing said. Baya smiled. You should rest first. I don't have time to cook today. I'll go out and buy some food for you. It's just a flesh wound. I don't need to lie in the hospital. I don't like the environment in the hospital. I'll go with you, Gu Lingqing said in a deep voice. Although it's a flesh wound, it's not good to have a fever after infection. Actually, I've been a doctor before. If you trust me, I'll prepare all the medicine and put you on a drip at home. Is that okay? Baya asked. Okay. Gu Lingqing stood up. There were probably more than 10 wounds on his body. When he moved, he could feel the burning pain all over his body. There are countless small wounds on your body and 12 big ones. Actually, it's best to rest in bed for 3 days. Wait for the scabs to form before moving, Baya suggested. I'm a man. No matter how big the wound is, it won't be more than 3 centimeters. Let's go, Gu Lingqing said. Wait for me for 10 minutes. I'll go get the medicine. Okay. After Baya went out, Gu Lingqing looked around. Alan wasn't there. Alan's asthma was very serious. The environment in the hospital wasn't very good. It wasn't suitable for him to come over. However, because of this incident, he could stay in Xiao Ya's house. Was God helping him? Soon, Baya came over with a big plastic bag. Let's go. Baya brought him home first. Alan was there. Seeing Gu Lingqing coming over, he was slightly stunned and then smiled. He said to Baya, I went to a restaurant opened by Country A to buy some food. It's in the kitchen now. Thank you, Alan. You're so thoughtful. I'm sorry for today. I wanted to bring you out to play, but I didn't expect you to worry, Baya said politely. I think it's good. Being able to experience something like this with you will be an unforgettable memory for the rest of my life, Alan said with a smile and looked at Gu Lingqing. Black, take a seat first. I'll go to the kitchen to heat up the food and bring it out, Alan said again. No need. Leave this to me, Baya said. She went to the kitchen and saw familiar dishes from Country A. Braised pork with preserved vegetables, white gourd spare ribs, sweet and sour sea bass, green pepper beef tenderloin, and shredded carrots. It was easy for her to heat up the food. Alan, are you used to these dishes? Baya asked. Yeah, not bad, Alan said with a smile. Baya thought for a while. There were some fruits and tomatoes in the fridge. There was also the frozen steak that she bought a long time ago. She took it out and made a simple fruit and vegetable salad and a portion of steak. The steak was cut into long strips and fried so that everyone could eat it. These 2 dishes were more suitable for Alan's taste. Half an hour later, everything was ready and she brought it out. She realized one thing. Alan had a high EQ and was good with words. Moreover, he always thought from the perspective of others when he did things. As for Gu Lingqing, she was cold by nature and didn't like to talk, but she was indeed hot-blooded. The 2 of them sat together peacefully and harmoniously. Time to eat, she said to them. Black, you're injured. Take a seat first. I'll help Xiao bring the dishes. Alan followed Baya into the kitchen. You want him to stay here forever? Alan asked casually. At least after he recovers, and before the white sex matter is completely resolved, he can't go on the ship. This happened to him because we're going out to sea. So, he can stay as long as he wants. Anyway, my room is big and spacious. It won't be a problem for more than 10 people to stay here, Baya explained. But he's a man, Alan said softly. Baya looked at him, amused. You're not. That's not what I mean. I'm just afraid that people will gossip and affect your reputation. Heh. Baya chuckled. It's because people care too much about what others think of them that they'll worry about nothing and put pressure on themselves. But for me, I care more about what I think. Besides, what do other people have to do with me? What other people think has nothing to do with me. The innocent will know their innocence. As long as one is honest and has a clear conscience, that's good enough. Baya patted Alan's shoulder. Alan smiled. That makes sense. This is indeed psychology. After Baya left, Alan's smile disappeared. Chapter 770. After the meal, Baya arranged a room for Gu Lingqing on the first floor. Little White was placed in the garden. I left in a hurry and didn't bring your clothes. Did you get someone to send you clothes? Baya asked Gu Lingqing. I'll get someone to send it over, Gu Lingqing said. All right, you can rest at home. I'll go to the pet shop to buy a nest for Little White. I'll go with you, Alan said with a smile. Baya nodded. That's a good idea. We still have to go to the supermarket later. There should be a lot of things to buy. Gu Lingqing frowned. He watched them leave and made a call. Zhang Xingyu, send my clothes to Baya. Sir, you're staying at Madam's house? Zhang Xingyu was surprised. It's an accident. Don't let her see it. Also, send Ellie's clothes overseas. I guarantee she won't come back, Gu Lingqing ordered. Yes, sir. You can do it. Zhang Xingyu cheered for Gu Lingqing. Gu Lingqing's eyes darkened. He wanted to cheer for her too. He had a lot to say to her but he couldn't say a word to her. Baya had changed. She was more cheerful, lively and carefree than before. She was so carefree that he didn't want to disturb her life. But he couldn't help but want to get closer to her. On the road Baya was driving while playing beautiful light music. Alan looked at her. He wanted to say something but stopped himself. Baya smiled. Just say what you want. You're not a hesitant person. Actually, I've always liked you. From the first time I met you until now, although I've backed out, I've never given up on my feelings for you. Can you give me a chance to start with me? Alan said. Baya continued to drive calmly. Alan, you're a perfect person without a single flaw. You have a high EQ, high IQ, open-minded, noble background, and status. You're at the top of the pyramid. Think about it. What will happen after we get married? Alan was deep in thought. His mind was indeed blank. He was a little flustered. Baya smiled and glanced at him. Have you never thought about our future together? I think so. You just think that I'm suitable for you. You're a perfect person, and you've been searching for perfection. However, living with someone who's too rational is no different from living on your own. Not only can I live my own life, but I can also live freely and care freely, Baya explained. Isn't being plain the most realistic? Think about it again. Other than having sex as a husband and wife, our lives are no different from now. As we grow older and spend too much time together, our passion will fade. Many couples want to be together for a long time. They might not even have sex for 10 or 20 years, Baya explained. Alan remained silent and didn't say anything else. He was very indifferent towards sex. He hadn't had sex with a woman for a few years. He didn't want to and felt that it was boring. I think you just admire me and think that I'm a good person. However, you don't like me, Baya said rationally. I might not have the ability to love anyone, Alan said thoughtfully. That's because you haven't met someone that you're jealous of. Sometimes, love is irrational. When you meet the person that makes you irrational, then you'll be right. You and I will be best friends for life. If we can live together for the rest of our lives, we'll be happy. What about Gu Lingqing?
Alan asked. Gu Lingqing? Baya frowned. There seemed to be no such person in her memory. However, when she said the name of this person, she felt a faint pain in her heart. Black. Alan corrected the name. Oh, him. Baya didn't go on. She frowned and took a deep breath. I'm jealous. Alan's heart was astringent. His eyes narrowed and he said very seriously. Baya stopped the car on the side of the road and looked at him. Alan's chest heaved up and down. His eyes locked on Baya deeply. He had never given her pressure. He was afraid that because of these pressures, she would stay away from him. However, it seemed that there was an insurmountable gap between him and her. I like you, not only because of appreciation. Since I met you, I can't see other women. As long as you need me, I can do anything for you, even my life. Alan made a strong confession. When you're with me, there's no thrilling, no love-hate, no spectacular, but what I can give you is understanding and tolerance. I can be your unscrupulous support. I can spoil you, love you, respect you, and help you do whatever you want. Listening to Alan's confession, Baya was moved. He was such a perfect person. If she didn't accept him, she would be spoiled. However, she completely appreciated Alan. If he liked other women, she would give her blessings. No heartbeat, no love. Alan, I don't want to lose such a good friend as you. When I think of you, I feel warm in my heart. I think this warmth is more precious than love. But if you are with another man, how can I stay with you as a good friend? Will you still let me stay with you? Baya didn't speak. Human nature was actually there. Once she had a boyfriend and Alan appeared by her side like this, it would hurt Alan and her boyfriend. I think the only way I can keep you in the open is to be your boyfriend. I don't dare to think about our future because I don't want to give you pressure. Because I know what kind of past you have, Alan confessed. Baya's heart ached and her eyes turned red. She didn't dare to touch the past. This was what she had warned herself before. In fact, she knew very well that if she hadn't been forced to the extreme, she wouldn't have been able to hypnotize herself. As long as she thought of a little shadow of the past, her heart would still hurt for no reason. Alan, I don't have many friends. The only friends who can really enter my heart are you and Lu Shuang. I'm afraid that after we start dating, we will never see each other again. I don't have the confidence to go on with you and I'm afraid of losing you. Let's stay like this forever, okay? Baya said softly. It was so soft that he couldn't bear to force her anymore. I won't leave you, never. Even if you don't choose me in the end, I won't leave you, Alan promised. Baya turned around and hugged Alan. She closed her eyes and tears flowed out. She didn't know why, but she just felt sad. It was a gift from the heavens to have a bosom friend in life. Alan treated her so well that even if she rejected him, she would feel wronged for him, unworthy and heartbroken. Alan, let's try dating, Baya said softly. You're tuning in to the Xiaofan's Wuxia Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.